At the site of the ancient games, from there, torchbearers will carry the flame to Athens to hand over to Paris Olympic organizers next Friday. America's listening to Fox.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. I feel unusually spry and chipper for a Tuesday.
I'm excited about that because normally you take the opportunity to tell everybody on a Tuesday, well, it's the worst day of the world. It's your armpit of the week. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Well, no, it is. It is. But I'm just saying, of the days of the week, it's just the one that just has no purpose. It serves no purpose whatsoever. It's just there. You know, every day has like a little bit of. Monday, you're starting the week. Tuesday's just, Wednesday, you're halfway there. Thursday's a new Friday. Friday's awesome.
I blame you now because I never thought this way about a Tuesday in my life. It was just a day.
I can't.
And you've made me realize this is the armpit of the week. It is the worst day.
I can't help it. I'm just the observer of the things that are happening during the week. That's all.
I just don't subscribe to your mentality. I look at every day as it's another opportunity to have a little bit of fun.
See, I love that, Lois. I love that. Glass half full, Carlos Medina, the silver lining.
Because if I go into a day, it's like anybody else out there. If you got up this morning and, all right, you tripped over the dog and you found out that your clothes are on backwards, and I'm not going to lie, there's been a couple times over the last, it's been underwear related. I've gotten home and been like, why are my underwear on backwards? I'm like, because I just put them on, in the dark. I don't want to wake up my wife, and sometimes, sometimes the daughter, sneaks into the bedroom. So I get dressed in the dark. And so I go downstairs and I check everything, but the one thing I don't check is underwear. I'm just saying, every now and then, I get if you get a little bit upset over a particular day. I'm just not applying it to this one.
No, I'm not either today, man. I don't know why today is just. I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I feel really good for a Tuesday. I don't know. I got no explanation, Rhino.
I did the similar thing that Carlos did. I put my sweatpants on the other day backwards, and I couldn't find my pockets, and it was driving me nuts. I'm like, I know these have pockets. Yeah, right. And then I felt backwards a little bit, so my phone, my wallet were all in my pants backwards. Yeah, you're like, I was too lazy to take them off and put them back on the right way.
Yeah, you're like crisscross back in the day.
Yeah.
Didn't they get discovered at one of the malls here in town?
Will make you.
Yeah, they were. Okay, so you do have Outcasts, and that was that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently, like when it came to crisscross and the whole East Coast family and the whole craziness of what was going on during that time period.
Yeah,
it's like the Shannon Mall or something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's one of those.
I remember it being the mall.
Yeah,
I remember it being the mall. I remember them being found that way. And yeah, Outcast. By the way, they're coming back together. They're going to have another reunion. That's pretty exciting. That sounds
huge.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's right. One of mine too, man. How can you not like Outcast? I mean, this must be something wrong with you.
By the way, when Rhino tells you about the whole pocket thing, I had the exact same thing happen maybe like 3 months ago. And it was on a pair of shorts. I was wearing leggings. I had no idea that I just grabbed the shorts and I threw them on in the dark. And I go look down because my keys won't fit anywhere. They're inside out.
There's a great skit, Jerry Seinfeld in his stand-up, and he was like, that's why dudes don't like to go to nude beaches, because they don't have a place to put their hands. He said someone needs to make a belt with pockets. That way men feel more comfortable at a nude beach. I just have this visual of this little belt with pockets and Guy walking with his hands.
You have a visual of a nude beach and a man with a belt.
Wearing, with his hands in his pockets. Yeah.
Who's the man? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. It's just
Joe Biden.
Yeah. Oh, man. That makes me not want to think about this ever again.
So white and wrinkly.
That sounds so gross and weird. You see all those clowns on the bridges and in front of the airport, Chicago, like the anti-Israel agitators. Is what they're on the Brooklyn Bridge. They're just causing problems everywhere. Those people should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And if that's not strong enough, they need to be locked up for like 25 or 30 years. And I know that it sounds excessive, but if you want to fix the problem, that's how you fix that problem.
People are tired of them. People are tired
sick of it.
Of all of you. You lose your entire point when you destroy someone's day. When they need to get to the airport like they needed to in Chicago. When they need to get across the bridge like they needed to in San Francisco. We've seen this story. Look, in Atlanta with the Stop Cop City protesters taking up the crane and getting on there, locking themselves to that, blocking Peachtree. We're tired of you. We don't care about your message anymore. You've ruined it. I could care less what you think. Yeah, I mean, it's totally turned off at this point.
They could be calling attention to their cause.
Yeah. Blah, blah.
Dude,
you're stuck in traffic and you have to acknowledge me.
Dude, they could be saying, save puppies. And if they're blocking the intersection, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out.
I'll save the puppies, but I'm going to run you over at this point. But what's funny is the people that they're supporting, the terrorists that they're supporting, would throw all of them off that bridge. Would throw every single one of them off that bridge because they're tired of it too. But in Iran's regards, yesterday, after hearing what they were saying, this is exactly what they want. They want these young, dumb, useful idiots to be out there making this message because they feel it empowers them even more.
Well, this was a climate change tactic that's now found its way to move around. I'm not telling you they got to do 5 years in prison just because
25.
I know 25. You want to do 25.
Not 5. 25.
Do you realize how hard it is to probably do 60 days in prison if you've never really... Because the reason why they're agitators is because they know... I get booked. Here's what happens.
Yeah, and I'm out in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm out in this amount of time.
25 years.
Could you imagine what 60 days? Could you do 60 days in prison?
No.
No, neither could I, but I'm just telling you.
That's why they need to do 25 years.
They need to do 60 days, and that'll put an end to all this stuff.
Here's the problem.
25 years.
We don't have prosecutors in these cities that they're doing this in would actually put them away for more than a day.
Not even 30 minutes, dude.
Right.
They're out as soon as they get booked.
But that's where I basically make sure and establish within my community, because it is Los Land. Tugland won't do it. So I'm going to establish minimums for when you get arrested. Like, you guys saw what happened in Florida? The Florida police departments, when they started to play this game, they pulled them right off the street and were like, and by the way, if y'all want to go back on out there, we're going to look at some years.
That's right.
And they stayed off the streets.
That's right.
Yeah, that's one way.
That's what I'm looking for. And let me tell you, you're wrong about Tugland. Tugland's going to prosecute it too.
Tugland's going to throw the book at him. I don't know what you're talking about.
20 damn 5 years.
They're doing 25 years in Tugland. But, the way that, and you may remember from the Indian reservation, the way they handled them when they were blocking, they ran over their trailer. They ripped them off the street.
Yes. Headed out to Burning Man or whatever it was?
Yep.
Which is wacky out there anyway. I mean, those dudes get crazy. I didn't realize how crazy Burning Man was because I didn't really know what it was.
Right.
But man, you had to be nuts to go there to begin with. But the way that dude he whipped that truck around and he started dragging people off. I love that guy.
Because they support their police on the reservations. They say, hey, you're going to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody's going to be able to get in and out where they need to go. And that's a big problem. I mean, if there are any families that are having their worst day of their life, whether it's a fire, whether it's a family emergency, they need to get to the hospital. These people are taking that away and making their day even worse. It's sickening what we do. I love, and we'll talk to Neil Bortz later, I love the idea of the water cannon. Just blast them off that bridge with the water cannons.
Man, I tell you what, I'm just so tired of them. Tired of the protesters. I know it's your American right, but not to infringe on everybody else's right. And that's where the line has to be drawn.
I have a right to assembly in order to be able to protest what I see fit. Oftentimes, a lot of city governments will require you to have a permit for this stuff. But the idea is, I'm not looking to inconvenience other people. I am standing on the corner. I am holding my sign. I am making sure to be heard and be seen. But I'm not, in a lot of these cases, when it comes to blocking an airport, now I'm interfering with commerce.
Right.
All right? Like, now we're starting to get to a gray area where That 60 days in is going to be pretty hard 60 days in.
25 days.
25.
25 years, rather. 25 years is what we need, Los. Let's take it.
That will get rid of the communist street agitator very quickly.
I would love that because, it's okay. Go in front of the Israeli consulate. Go in front of the Georgia Capitol. Go in front of the people that you want to see the message.
That's right.
The people driving to work. The people trying to get their kids to school. Leave them alone, man.
Leave them alone. That's exactly right. Vivek, since the Trump trial kind of got underway yesterday, Vivek Ramaswamy, who had my vote up until he dropped out and endorsed Trump, he broke down what is happening in this New York hush money trial with Stormy Daniels. He breaks it down to a T. I want you to listen to what he's saying and then consider this when you're thinking about this trial. And I'm sure you listening right now, the majority of everybody's like, I already know this because we all feel the same way about it. But just in case there's some knucklehead that has no idea what's going on, let Vivek explain it to you.
Alvin Bragg effectively is prosecuting Donald Trump for making hush money payments, allegedly, to Stormy Daniels, and then paying Michael Cohen in a means that Alvin Bragg thinks is falsifying business records. Well, first of all, falsifying business records in New York is a misdemeanor, not a felony, and it falls outside of the statute of limitations, meaning it happened so far long ago that Alvin Bragg can't bring the case unless he charges it as a felony, which requires an underlying crime that he's advancing by falsifying those business records that was also a felony. Here's where the legal stretch really begins. That requires Alvin Bragg to say that Donald Trump's payments should have been made out of a campaign account. That's his theory of the case, instead of being made personally, or else it's a constructive campaign contribution. That's bunk. Think about it. Look, you've had smart people like former FEC Commissioner Bradley Smith, who has correctly pointed out that if Donald Trump did use campaign money, campaign contributions, to pay off hush money, that would arguably be an even stronger legal case to bring against him than the case they're bringing now. So in that version of the world, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming. It's almost as though they decided this is the person we're going to prosecute, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to charge him with after the fact. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened.
And he's working backwards. That's exactly what happened. And it drives me crazy because you have Alvin Bragg and the entire city of New York who won't prosecute actual felonies. People that are breaking the law daily, people are committing crimes daily, and they do nothing about it. They turn them loose 5 minutes after, just like we talked about with those stupid protesters.
Yeah, the progressive DAs throughout New York are sickening to the fact that they're not protecting their people. But, sometimes I don't blame Alvin Bragg because I think it's coming from higher up. They've put him on this case, so he's not able to do the job for the people.
Resign.
I truly believe that. Oh, of course, no way. He makes way too much money.
Right, yeah,
why would he resign?
But if you
he loves this.
Well, man, now see,
this is a political career for him too.
Now you're onto it.
Absolutely. So he's going to do whatever they tell him to do. I love the fact that Vivek brought up the FEC chairman, the former FEC chairman, because he was one of the ones in 2017 who said, well, there's nothing here. We're not going to prosecute him. There is no election interference. He's not using campaign funds. This is a no deal. That's why they had to move it to a felony, because they knew they wouldn't have the FEC backing in this.
Well, when the party tells you this is what you have to do, when you are a dyed-in-the-wool communist, this is what happens.
And you're willing to do whatever.
The party from on high tells you out of D.C., this is what we need you to do. There's no questions asked. So you wonder why there's always this common thread amongst all these prosecutors, how they're all the same. Surprise, surprise.
This is how it
works. This is how it works.
And we'll get to a story about that exact same thing about this time next hour. It's just, all of it just is insane. It all drives me up the wall. And, you got Axios reporting this morning that homicides are plummeting. Crime is plummeting.
What?
I'm like, where? Yeah. Where is crime plummeting? Point to a place. They would say Boston, Philadelphia, Miami, Dallas, D.C. And then the only place they say crime is up, Los Angeles and Atlanta. So maybe we're just seeing all the crime that's happening here. And that's why we're influenced by it. But you see it every day, man. Crime is through the roof everywhere.
The ridiculous nature of basically not prosecuting even violent crimes allows you to artificially keep the numbers down.
Boom. That's
exactly right.
But
they're pushing the narrative for Joe Biden, knowing that this is going to help him. And of course, Axios now owned by the AJC, so it tells you what point of view it's coming from.
Well, yeah, and I love that Carlos just brought that up. I was going to bring up the same point, and I also want to add to that we're also looking at a case where, yeah, crime is down, but it's much like inflation. When they say inflation's down, the number was so high that, yeah, crime's probably come down a little bit this year, but it's only because it was so much higher the year before and the year before. During this administration, we've never seen crime, homicide, vehicle break-ins, rape higher than any other time in history. So maybe the numbers come down a little bit in some of those cities, but then we've seen it in Los Angeles and Atlanta. It is just moving around. These people move around, but they're not prosecuting it. That's the other point.
That's the main thing right there. If you're not prosecuting it, it's not going to show up as a crime. Just because the crime, the crime still happened, just because you choose not to prosecute it, doesn't mean the crime didn't happen. It just makes you want to scream and make. This was supposed to be a nice, good Tuesday. I felt good about this. Tuesday.
And by the way,
fired ass up.
When you look at these crime stats and you want to talk about the artificiality of them, notice how every single one of these perpetrators, they're always marked as white no matter what.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter what race they are. I mean, there's so many.
Go, why are they doing that? I wonder why.
I wonder why. If we can skew the numbers.
Got to skew numbers, man.
Exactly right. It works.
Play games of this stuff.
Works every time.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, April 16th. My son Liam's birthday. Happy birthday,
Liam!
All right, Judge Beryl Howell rejected Rudy Giuliani's request for a new trial in the defamation case that awarded Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss more than $148 million in damages. Giuliani has since filed bankruptcy. It's unclear how much, if any, Freeman and Moss will receive. Giuliani has also appealed the jury verdict to the U.S. Court of Appeals. That appeal is still pending. The U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will be in front of the Senate today to answer to the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee regarding oversight of the U.S. Postal Service. Metro Atlanta customers have voiced concern over packages and mail that never got delivered. Representatives from Georgia, including the two state senators, Barry Loudermilk and Mike Collins, have all signed on to letters demanding answers from the Postmaster General. The hearing begins at 10 a.m. And in sports, Austin Riley had 3 hits, including an RBI single in the 9th. Marcell Ozuna and Orlando Arcia also singled in runs in the 9th to give the Braves a 6-1 win over the Houston Astros last night. The Braves remain 2 games ahead of the Phillies in the NL East. The Braves and Astros play game 2 tonight. Reynaldo Lopez will be on the mound for the Braves. First pitch scheduled for 8:10. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Problem is, I was in the bed by 8:45, and we were down 1-0. And so I didn't get to see any of the game last night, which is disappointing because I love watching the Braves. And I woke up this morning, they won big. I was like, yes, this is perfect. This is the great way. Maybe that's why my Tuesday started so well. I went to bed thinking the Braves are losing, and I wake up and they win big. Maybe that's it. That's the only thing I can figure. Biden's blunders in Iran and on Iran has caused the situation that you're seeing around the world right now. Weakness is causing this situation. We'll discuss it. We'll break it down. Talk about it next on Xtra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. And we're here with you until 10.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Xtra 106.3. Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
But I'm watching the TV last night, and the reporter kept talking about gun violence. You hear that all the time. Gun violence. A question. When somebody gets into a wreck and somebody dies, did they die from car violence? No. They died because the driver of a car took an action that resulted in their death.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Xtra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Xtra 106.3 app.
Okay, so the folks from Southern Exteriors coming out to the house. They're doing the painting. They're going to do the pressure wash. They're going to fix all the things that need to be fixed. And we got a handful of places. I told you about it where the woodpeckers got on the chimney. And then there's just a couple places that are close to the ground where some of the siding is I don't know if it's rotting because it's that hardy board siding, but it's falling apart. It's not helping. It's being damaged because of the moisture in the ground and all the trees around. They broke it all down they explained to me why everything's happening. They actually said, hey, you may want to consider having an arborist come out and take a look at some of the trees and then getting your neighborhood association's approval and cutting some of them down, cutting them away from the house. See, not only are they going to repair the things that are wrong, they even gave me an idea on how to make their repairs, the repairs that they're doing, last even longer. That's what you're looking for in a contractor, right? Just somebody that'll look you in the eye, shake hands, say, okay, this is what you need done. That's what I'm going to do. As simple as that. Southern Exteriors, they'll be out here in about a little less than 2 weeks. Not because they made me wait. It's actually I'm making them wait. If you need work done on your house, they are a big enough company that as soon as you say go, they're going to be ready to get the project started. You get your own dedicated project manager, too. There's so many reasons to work with Southern Exteriors. If you'd like to do that, like I am, hey, it's Tug. 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. 8779-SOUTHERN and southernexteriors.co.
Well, Sally, thank you for your time. But unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
But why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and we saw some red flags.
Like what?
Apparently, you were accused of dog-napping a chihuahua named Mr. Cha-Cha.
Mr. Cha-Cha was my soulmate.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
Returning to Metro Atlanta, April 26th to the 28th, the Mitsubishi Electric Classic, presented by Venture, is Georgia's only PGA Tour Champions event. Enjoy local craft brews and scenic views of the par 3 11th hole and an exciting atmosphere at the Perch. Pick your favorite hole to watch along the ropes or find public seating throughout the course. Children 15 and under receive complimentary tickets with purchase by an adult. Join the party at TPC Sugarloaf in Duluth, Georgia. Tickets available at MitsubishiElectricClassic.com/tickets.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Baseball season is back. If too much celebrating leaves you in trouble after the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors, we're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Coffee, keys, and Extra 106.3. That's how I get to work and home.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra until 10. Then the Glenn Beck program. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, and the local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 3 until 6 only. on the Extra 106.3 app, extra1063.com, just any of the extensions of this radio station. However you listen, is totally up to you. Totally fine with us.
You can listen on YouTube.
You good. You absolutely. On the Extra 106.3 channel. Watch this show. You can watch the local afternoon show with the camera too, 3 until 6. So a lot of ways to engage. You can find us on social media at Extra 106.3. This reminded me of you a little bit, Rhino, just in the fact that y'all were paddling.
Yeah.
This
kayaking and paddleboarding
and all that. It's a little bit different, but it reminded me of y'all, just the fact that there's a 30-pound cat in Indiana. His name is Thick and Nugget. And they're trying to help. They're trying to help slim this cat down because it's 30 freaking pounds.
Wait, are you saying it's because I'm fat and I'm paddling?
No, I'm just felt like you were going after him. Then.
I felt like
it's a very awkward attack.
Are you saying I'm a fat cat?
No, I'm just saying y'all are out on the water all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Take this paddle.
Take this paddle. You should paddle more.
No,
so you don't become a fat cat.
You're misinterpreting all of it.
Really, that's the only way I took it.
Okay, well, let me explain. I'm just saying y'all are out getting exercise. You're on the water. It's fun, but cats don't like water.
No, they don't.
Thick and Nugget does not like water. There's a place in Indiana. It's the Canine Aquatic Center, and they're helping this cat lose weight. In 7 weeks, this cat's lost 5 pounds. Laura Novak, she's with the Canine Aquatic Center, and she says, here's the thing about cat swimming.
He tries to protest it first, but he swims so well, and he gets out and just walks around like he owns the place, so I think he actually kind of likes it deep down.
No, I don't believe that. Cats hate water.
I'm all for capitalism, but people have some ridiculous ideas. I love this, though. I mean, get your cat in water. Who spends money to do that? I have no idea. Why can't you just get your cat to chase mice and lasers and stuff like normal people?
Or just let it be fat.
Or stop feeding it.
Maybe slim it down. Maybe don't feed it as much.
When
or
you see a
just let
fat
it be
pet,
fat.
You have fat owners when you have a fat pet.
I don't have a problem with a fat cat.
I kind of like the 90s because we had a history in this country and around the world where the more robust you were, the more rich you were.
Yeah, well, but that's just traditional.
That's
over
traditional.
Hundreds and thousands of years.
That'd be rich. Right?
Then in the 90s, we got into really good fat shaming.
Yeah.
We were like if you were huge, we didn't put you on TV. We didn't put you in movies. There was none of these crazy ads where here's a 300-pound woman dancing in front of me.
See, but now we've gone the exact opposite
Exactly,
direction.
And that's the problem.
That's exactly right. We can't get it right. We can never get it right.
We're failing.
I just had this picture. I want to show you this picture of this
I
cat
see
swimming.
The fat cat.
And it's now it's gone. Where'd it go?
We're tired of the cat. I'm tired
swear
of the
my
cats
computers
again.
are something's wrong.
Can I tell you when I was a bad person over the weekend?
Well, yeah, of course.
So I'm walking into my local QT, and there's a man that I would say of a very robust size.
Okay.
And he had a little mask on. So he had like
a little mask.
The little like his head was so large that a regular mask looked tiny on him. And all I could think to myself is I'm grabbing my, I think I grabbed like a Sprite Zero and was like, okay, I'm going to grab this was the stop for the sunflower seeds. And I'm walking out. All I thought to myself was, I'm going in there. I'm walking out with like a Sprite Zero and some sunflower seeds. God only knows what he's going to come out of there with.
Right.
And if he was that afraid, maybe you should slim it down a little bit, buddy.
But they don't equate. Because they're so brainwashed.
Now, that was me being a bad person.
Look at this cat before the thing goes away. It's got this cat has like a life vest on.
Well, you need to talk to that gentleman and ask him, hey, why don't we hit this pool together?
Yeah, why don't
we got to slim it down a little bit, man.
We can do some water aerobics.
What is that? What would you have said to him? Like if you were able to say anything to him, what would you have said?
Would I done the Brian Finneran?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brian Finneran, the former Falcon, is the biggest shamer in this entire building. Where he'll meet you.
Oh, he'll tell me,
and he'll flat out say, "Hey, listen, man, kind of getting. I want to.
You've added some weight.
I want to drop that off a little bit. Like I was happy when I played golf with him over the summer. There were no comments.
Okay, so you're in good shape
because he knows he's eyeballing you the whole time. Yeah. He's wondering. So I felt like that was my seal of approval. Like I'm okay. I'll just keep eating the way I do, and I'll work out because Brian Finner doesn't make fun of me.
I played with them in that Bears Best tournament, and he was right there, and he said, "Man, I guess you get all your weight behind that swing. That's how you hit it so far."
And he probably didn't mean anything by it, but knowing
no,
how
he did.
He did.
I think he did. But I'm not that person. Like if you told me, what would you say if you could? I'm like, that's not. I don't do that.
I wouldn't say anything.
I don't do that. Yet there are people like Finneran who have no problem saying these things to people.
I need it though. Like I need people to start saying things like that because I'm starting to get motivated. I think the winter really drags a lot of people down. It's rainy. It's yucky. It's whatever. The sun sun comes out, I'm out every weekend now. I'm going to go out tomorrow. I'm going to paddleboard more. I'm going to work on that stuff.
See, but that's really
but
good.
But I need people to yell
that's
at me.
really good.
I need Carlos to be like, hey, bud.
It's not my thing.
Mix in a salad.
It's not my thing.
But I got thinner in. That's fine. You don't have to.
I go like this. Well, if it makes you happy, if it's cool, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you want to work out more, great. If you don't, fine. I just know that when it comes to me, these are the things I'm going to do.
No, I get it. I find, especially in the last few months, like just having the time to do anything but work is I can't.
Tony, you got to sneak it where you can sneak it. That's the whole reason why I left the whole gym game.
Yeah,
which is
I did too.
Because even though it was like 10 minutes over there, 10 minutes back. Here's the amount of time. It was so much easier for me to get on the machine of death at home and spend my 30 or 45 minutes, quick shower, and I can move on because that's you're right. When you're working or when you have to go pick up the kids or there's just something, it's hard to find a free 30 minutes on a regular basis.
But I'm also like too fat to take the stairs every day. And girlfriend Erin is like, text me. You take the stairs. And I'm like, yeah. And then I forget when I get here. Though. Oh, she's all over it. And she but I'm like, these are little things I can do that are so easy. I'm ramping up to it, you know, like I lost a lot of weight, you know, last month, like at the end of summer. And I'm like, I let it all come back. Like in October, I was like, there's Halloween, there's Christmas. I fall into that trap every year. I'm ready for spring.
Is it bad that I'm judgmental on a handful of things? Like that's one of them. Mm-hmm. The other one is we do have our coworkers that when we go to the parking garage and we go to the orange deck.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who goes up the stairs amongst that group.
Yeah, I always walk to my car, too. I usually do that.
Yeah, Tug goes the long way.
They take the elevator one floor up.
Which is nuts.
I was like, why not just take the three, you know, it's a little extra cardio.
Yeah.
Just a little something.
Yeah,
I'm the one who
every
needs
little
that.
bit helps.
I need that, and I'm the one who parks in the one spot. They're like, hey, guys, if you can, just don't park down there in the front spots. I park right in and walk straight.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
It's just habit now.
I'm out of breath.
Listen, get yourself one of those like Polar heart rate monitors.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not crazy expensive. It sits strapped to you, and the one thing that you will see is that if you're in better shape or you're in better cardiovascular shape, how much more your body will burn through calories when you're not doing anything.
That's true.
Like when you're just sitting.
Oh, yeah. Because you're in shape. Yeah,
your body is burning through stuff faster.
Jeff from Atlanta Safe House just kind of said the same thing. Y'all sit too much. Why don't you come move some safes with me?
Seriously, man. He's like, come over and pick this up.
Yeah, you don't want us
stuff's
in
heavy.
I'll be sitting in the safe, Jeff. You're going to be like, why is this safe so much heavier now?
Exactly.
Where's Rhino, by the way?
There's a human in there.
Yeah.
What machine, Lowe's, if you could recommend a machine to me or anybody listening, what's the best machine to get for home? Well, is it an elliptical? Is it a treadmill? What is it?
Well, first off, everyone's different as far as like when I did the Bowflex Max Trainer, which now we talked about how Bowflex isn't really going to be doing a whole lot of stuff anymore. The reason why I did is because I needed something zero impact.
Yeah.
Because of the plantar fasciitis. And so a lot of it is just what works for you and what will you stay committed to. Like a lot of people like the interactive stuff now, which is really cool.
See, I'm looking at the Peloton now.
Yeah.
Aaron and I were like,
hey,
I
can't afford that. Good Lord.
No, well, you know, it's not as bad as you think, and you can find them used. Like we're doing the marketplace thing. That's what we're doing.
Well, how much is used?
$350 for a used one.
Peloton?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you know what ends up happening? Like most people, they get all into it, they buy it, and then they go, I got to get rid of this.
That's how I got mine.
Yeah, so we were looking this weekend because Erin rides 22 miles, like her and Bruce Hagen. They're in the same group. They ride and do all that 22 miles. That's a little silly to me. I'm not going to get that far yet. Maybe I will. I'd love to be able to do it. But I'm going to start in the Peloton, and I like spinning. Same thing, knees, ankles, my plantar fasciitis that still won't go away.
It takes a long time.
Yeah, I know.
It does. That was the whole reason, Rhino, that I initially went that direction because I couldn't get rid of it. I just had to stay off it.
Goodness gracious. Morning Xtra at Xtra 106.3. There are so many blunders that Biden has made. And I don't mean the falling up the stairs. I don't mean the misspeaking when he can't remember the prime minister of Australia. And he's like, oh, you know, that man down under. You know, that fella down that way. I'm not talking about when he, says stupid things that we highlight and giggle at. I mean, there is a laundry list of actual blunders that are detrimental to the United States and our allies that he's had with Iran.
Yeah, I love the fact that people are starting to realize and see, okay, hold on, these are all the mistakes. I think we've seen it, but the former director of national intelligence, John Ratcliffe, started sounding the alarm on here's where we went wrong with Iran and handling. Obviously, the $6 billion was huge, but I want to talk about some of the things that we saw. Obviously, October 7th was a horrible, horrible day in Israel. And then after that, because we just sat and played games with it, Biden could not commit and say that he was strong enough to support them. And then obviously we know about these pro-terrorist groups that were putting political pressure on him. We had over 170 attacks. Think about this. 170 attacks by Iran on U.S. forces. What did we do, Tug?
Well, nothing. We told them don't, and they spit in Biden's face. They did exactly what they wanted to do, which we knew they would.
It's a problem. It's a problem. We show no strength there.
It's frustrating because we continue to be the ones on this radio show. Whenever one of these happens, we then document it. We say, well, what are they going to do now? And the answer is really nothing. At least there's nothing that publicly is going to do. And I know they can't be doing anything because they keep happening. You know, if you told me there was like 5 or 10 attacks, sure, and that's it, okay. You're going to the hundreds, Rhino. Like hundreds means I didn't punish you for any one of them.
And 100 of them, and maybe 100 of them, nobody lost their lives. But we also lost 3 Americans. What was our response to Iran after losing 3 Americans to this? Hey, don't do that again. Don't.
And yet they continue. So that's the thing. The Biden administration knows that they are going to lose votes anytime they push back, and anytime they defend Israel. So what are they going to do? They're trying to stand on, but they're playing hopscotch right now. I used this example earlier. You know, when they're trying to make sure that they keep the like the Jewish vote, they're standing on their left foot and they're trying to stay. And then all of a sudden Iran attacks and they're over here and they jump on this foot and they're like, well, we can't be too strong because if we come back at the Iranians too hard, those people in Dearborn, Michigan are not going to vote for us. They're screaming death to America. So it is like it's a game of hopscotch with these clowns, and they can't get it right, and they refuse to get it right because either way they go, they're going to lose votes.
And he hasn't done anything to condemn anyone. I mean, besides don't. He's already let the world know. After 170 attacks, he let Iran know they're not going to do anything. They've emboldened, they've empowered Iran to say, what are they going to do? All they keep telling us is, oh, we're going to put sanctions on Russia. We're going to do this. He's failed miserably with everything he's touched. The withdrawal from Afghanistan, 13 American soldiers. What's he do? Sends a drone to attack 10 innocents. They know that this is a complete disaster at this point. These are blunder after blunder that it could get us into a World War III.
So you think that you're busy with Hamas, with the Houthi rebels. You start adding everybody up, Hezbollah. The problem is, it's not that many. It's Iran. Iran is what's funding so much of this stuff, that it's weaponizing this stuff.
By way of us.
The drone technology that's currently in use in Ukraine is Iranian-based.
Yep.
This is where if you want to cut off the head of the snake, then cut off the head of the snake. I'm not talking militarily. Donald Trump did it by just saying, you're not going to get any of this money.
That's right. We're going to.
It's like, and you know what happens when you don't have money? You can't wage war across an entire region with your proxies.
And now their economy, because of all the oil that they're selling to the Chinese and to the Russians and to the Indians, all of that has created an economy that is able to withstand, even if they were to pull back the $6 billion. I think their economy is at like $300 billion now. Of
course.
Under Biden in the last 3 years.
There's a term that we got used to in the early 2000s after 2001. It was state sponsor of terror. That if you were involved in purporting terrorism around the world, we were going to do everything we could to choke off those funds to you because that's how you dry it up. And we don't do any of this stuff.
No.
We don't.
No.
And you're talking about you could curtail Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, just by saying we're going to keep them from having access to this money.
They've attacked everybody, whether they were shipping things, humanitarian aid to, the Gaza Strip. They've attacked every ship out there. They've continued to attack. They continue to support terrorism. And we just sit back and pretend like, oh, Israel's the bad guy. We have aid that is being hijacked by Hamas. What does Iran say? What do we say? Nothing. Our president has been so weak, he can't even stand up and say, hold on, let me tell you what's happening with aid. They're trying their best to let it go, but why would Israel allow their borders to be open to allow this to go through when there are a bunch of terrorists sitting on top of the aid and making sure the people who really need it aren't getting it? Why are we not telling everybody the truth? Because he's weak, so weak, all he wants is power and votes.
Well, you have 2 issues. First off, this started with the Obama administration, where you can't tell me that sitting and listening to anti-Israel rhetoric in Jeremiah Rice's church for 20 years.
Right, you didn't know.
Somehow, when you have pictures with the Nation of Islam, that you're telling me somehow, hey, I respect
I'm
Israel.
fair-minded.
I'm really about this. And so now the problem that you have, and you have this over at the border, and you have this now with Iran. If we were to reinstate President Trump's policies, look how much weaker they then look.
Well, yeah.
So they're already like, we can't stand them, and we can't reinstate these policies, so what are we going to do?
Nothing. We're going to say don't, and then they will. Anyway, it's Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. When we come back, NPR is fixable. Yes, it is. The free market, it'll fix anything. We'll explain on Xtra 106.3 in the Morning Xtra. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los.
If you love news and talk, you have to connect with the biggest personalities in the South at thepodcastpark.com. It's more original Atlanta content from Atlanta's hometown talk crew. From legal news to sports and politics, and even archives of interviews from years past. Find the podcast that you love and subscribe everywhere you get podcasts.
You heard Pollen jump in yesterday. I was trying to tell you about central heating and air conditioning. Pollen had to jump in and get his say. You know, because he's all around. He's everywhere. It's like, physically everywhere. There's so much pollen. You can write your name on the front of your car. You can dust it off all you like, and it's just going to return. I mean, it is everywhere, and it's in your house. I know you don't think it's in your house, but it is. Just because you can't see it, I mean, it ain't in there. And what you need to do is ask Central Heating and Air Conditioning to come out to the house, because not only can they take care of your heating and air conditioning needs, whether it's maintenance or a brand new Carrier system, because they are your Atlanta Carrier experts, they can help your house health as well as your family's health. They do that with all kinds of air purifying, variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, dehumidifiers, and so many other things that they can do in your house to make sure the air that you're breathing is clean and healthy. No sense in having pollen inside the house like you got it outside the house, but unless you get it out, unless you have a way of maintaining that ventilation, it'll stay.
Hey, guys.
Oh, my God, you're back. Pollen's back.
No, it's not pollen. It's ragweed.
Oh, ragweed? Where did you come from?
I'm coming.
I know you are. I hate your guts, ragweed. You and your friend Pollen.
What about animal? What about animal dander?
Yes.
I'm here. You can't stop me.
I hate
animal dander.
I just feel like y'all are kissing cousins or something. Good Lord. Get rid of these clowns. Get them out of your house. 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Convenience is defined as the state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty. Well, at RBM of Atlanta, we embody this philosophy. Meet our Mercedes-Benz pickup and delivery service. It gives you back time and money. Does your Mercedes-Benz need service? If so, we'll pick up your vehicle that's requiring service from your home or office and bring it back to our dealership for the required service. With over 100 appointments available every weekday, over 50 appointments on Saturdays, and more than 200 courtesy vehicles in our fleet, we're here to serve. We'll work around your schedule. We're here to save you time, energy, and money. RBM of Atlanta is a J.D. Power 2023 Diamond Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience and Georgia's only 9-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best winner. We're proud to be Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964. Pickup and delivery service restrictions do apply. Ask your service coordinator or service advisor for details.
My name is Amy Risley. I have been working for Bruce Hagen for 17 years. When I first started, my boys were 4 and 6, and whenever I needed, Bruce allowed me to bring them to our office. Bruce has always treated us like family. And 17 years later, I still love coming to work for Bruce Hagen. Just recently, a friend told me they hear Bruce talking on 680 The Fan. They asked me if he was as nice as he appeared to be on air. I smiled and without any hesitation answered, he's even nicer in person. I'm Amy Risley. I work for Bruce Hagen. Let Bruce Hagen work for you. Hagen-law.com.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here. And with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is to protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffered from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is always streaming live across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. Get the live stream and your favorite Extra podcast anywhere you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
There's all kinds of things I would like to see come to an end. Earlier in the show, we talked about those clowns that sit in front of traffic and block bridges like they did across in New York, California, and Chicago. I'd like to see that come to an end.
Like a snowplow would be cool.
Yes, or something. Look, I know it sounds brutal, but at this point, I'm fed up with these people. I would like to see it come to an end. 25 years in jail. 25 years. Now, Los is a little more sensible, and I understand that you say 60 days, I say 25 years.
Well, I can't fill up all my jails with people that are causing problems when it comes to, creating a traffic jam.
Let's build more jails.
Where?
Yeah.
Because then NIMBY starts.
Yeah, right. Now you got
my backyard.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Taxpayers' money, too.
Anyway, I'm just
saying I need a balance.
Okay, all right.
Because, yes, 25 years, I do need that, but I need to really have that for murderers and rapists. If you cause a problem on the streets, I need 60 days. Like, if you've seen 60 Days In on, like, A&E, 60 days is a long time. Like, there's things you'll realize I'm not doing that ever again.
Can we settle for 90 days and an air cannon?
What do you mean an air cannon?
Like an air cannon that just shoots things like projectiles, pepper balls, all those fun things at them to make them
make it painful before they go to jail.
Yes. I mean, if you rolled in 60s style with a water cannon.
Yeah, water cannon.
And we're like, we're going to stop this right now. Well, that's going to be discouraging. And then, by the way, all of you get 60 days.
Okay. I mean, look, I'm willing to negotiate here.
I mean, if I can see somebody get 2 to 5 years for walking into the Capitol.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's
I can't get 60 days for somebody causing an end to commerce, whether it's in Chicago or Atlanta or San Francisco.
Or if you could fire pepper balls and things while people are just standing outside of the Capitol, not blocking traffic, then why not use a water cannon? Why not use some kind of device to just barrel through those people, move them aside, and allow people to move on with their lives?
Another thing I'd like to see come to an end is tax-funded public radio. NPR. I'd like to see taxes not used on NPR and let the free market work, Los.
So we had the story last week that was written by the 25-year veteran of NPR, and he talked about where they went wrong and how this is how they went wayward and the amount of people that they have that represent the Democrat Party and how they don't have any, let alone conservatives. They have no Republicans, okay? Yeah. They don't have anybody on the
68
staff.
68 to 0.
Right. So there was a silver lining in there. It was, well, now we're changing our CEO, and she's more business-oriented, so hopefully we'll be able to get back to being a little bit more balanced. Well, that's when it's Catherine Marr, and Catherine, you can't tell from her Biden hat and her mask that she has on her picture from Twitter.
Dear God.
That are
so
always out there.
Changing, nothing.
But she is I'll just say this. She's easy on the eyes, and then you realize she's crazy.
She's crazy and pretty.
This woman is absolutely nuts. For instance, some of her tweets. I mean, sure, looting is counterproductive. This is back in 2020, by the way. Looting is counterproductive, but it's hard to be mad about protests not prioritizing the private property of a system of oppression founded on treating people's ancestors as private property. Oh, my God.
So that should change. NPR should change greatly.
So the idea ends up being... Why don't we? How much steam do we have to pick up for us to say we're not funding this thing anymore? So are you, Catherine, and the rest of y'all have to exist as a regular business entity?
They wouldn't survive, though, right? That's the thing. They wouldn't survive. It'd be gone.
No, I mean...
Which is fine, but it would be gone.
I go back with your jazz. Like, I like jazz. I could listen to NPR for their jazz music, find another content if you can't do the job the correct way. An actual... employ journalists instead of what you have, which is propagandists. There's got to be a way to find somebody that's a little bit moderate, at least a moderate Democrat to do this job, but they can't.
Exist.
They have to find the useful idiot that will continue to push their propaganda out to the American people and build those lies so that they'll all be wearing masks like her.
This is 2016. Now, remember, we've got to go back about 8 years and listen to her language and tell me if it's anything different than today, okay? Like, you have to be dedicated to the religion to have been talking like this in 2016. Quote from Catherine Marr. I do wish Hillary wouldn't use the language of boy and girl. It's a racing language for non-binary people.
Dear God, she was ahead of the game, wasn't she? She was way ahead of the crazy.
She was drinking the elixir. She was way into the religion. Again, this is 2016. This is before this fad really took hold. And yet, this is now your new CEO, where you think things are going to change.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be really great. I could see them taking an even a harder left turn under her. Couldn't you?
Definitely.
I mean, she's crazy.
There's a whole string of things that she has tweeted out over the last 8-9 years where you just tell yourself, how can this ever change when the leadership at the top is like this? The only answer is, well, then make it exist on its own.
Wait, and it wouldn't. It would be done in less than, 3 years? I mean, Rhino, what's the average for like a restaurant to last? Like 5 years, something like that?
Oh, you're lucky to make it the first year. But yeah, I mean, 3 to 5 years. If you make it to the 5-year mark, you've done pretty well. But yeah, I mean, most restaurants go out within a year.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, put them out and let's see how they would respond in the real world. They would have 0 advertisers.
Yeah.
They would have 0 listeners. It would just, and the fact that we fund this, that our tax dollars pay for this BS, that should make you want to scream to the top of your lungs, and it shows you just the inefficiency of the government.
July of 2020.
Oh, here we go.
Catherine Marr. Lots of jokes about leaving the U.S., and I get it. But as someone with cis white mobility privilege, I'm thinking I'm staying and investing in ridding ourselves of this specter of tyranny. I'm going to do what I can to get rid of Donald Trump no matter what. Who, by the way, as someone with cis white mobility privilege.
Dude, I don't know about y'all, but
why not just say, hey, I'm white and I can move because I got some money?
But the thing is, people like that, it makes me want to vote for Donald Trump that much more, just to put it back on these fools. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't worship at the altar of Trump. I say it over and over and over again. I thought he was great. I thought most of his presidency was great. There's some things I disagree with him on. It's the way it's going to be. I get it. But the fact that those people exist makes me want to vote for him that much more, just to see them melt down when he's reelected.
Yeah, this woman was an activist, and this is how this system works. They find people to put back in place. Access Now, you might remember a voting group, a very socialist voting group. This is who this woman is.
Ugh.
Also a specialist in Middle Eastern studies and studied Arabic. And
So good. All right. Well, I hope she shuts up.
Man, she's a nut. No, let her keep talking. You'll never...
I hope she goes away. I hope NPR goes away.
It'll help defund this thing faster, and then it has to exist on its own.
Fingers crossed that is the case.
Young global leader at WEF as well.
Of course she is. Why would you think she would work anywhere else? One common denominator in all the Trump prosecutions. I'll let you know what that is next on Extra 1063 Morning Extra until 10.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
The student debt relief he's doing everything he can to get around the Supreme Court that neglected and rejected his program before. And he's still going after giving people a break on their student loans, no matter, it doesn't make any sense. And he also said, Pete made a good point about when he mentioned the people of Baltimore and Delaware when he was growing up. He said, well, when I was a kid, people I grew up with couldn't afford to go to college.
It's Scranton. He's talking about the people of Scranton.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, they couldn't afford to go to college. So guess what, Joe? Now those people are paying for the people you want to give a free ride to.
Yep.
How do you think my kids and my favorite ex-wife and I feel about paying off loans when all of a sudden now, I guess we shouldn't have paid off those loans?
No. You're an idiot if
you know how much money I paid for all the graduate schools? Oh, my God.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Springtime is here. Looking for a fun weekend with family, friends, and the kids? The Mitsubishi Electric Classic, presented by Venture, Georgia's only PGA Tour Champions event, returns to Metro Atlanta April 26th to the 28th. Pick your favorite hole to watch along the ropes or find public seating throughout the course. Children 15 and under receive complimentary tickets with purchase by an adult. Join the excitement at TPC Sugarloaf in Duluth, Georgia from April 26th to the 28th. Tickets available at MitsubishiElectricClassic.com/tickets.
We don't just do foundation repairs. We set industry standards. Mark Beckham here, Atlanta Ram Jack. And while not all foundations are created equal, neither are foundation repair methods. That is why you should always turn to Atlanta Ram Jack for your foundation repair. We have 40 plus years of patents, innovations, and expertise, and we never recommend anything outside the scope of what you truly need. Simply put, we know how to get the job done right the first time. Book your free estimate at AtlantaRamJack.com today.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from the Safe House. And now, the security riddle of the day. What's less secure than a fake safe from a furniture or big box store? Joe Biden's fake border policy, of course. But hey, there is good news. This time next year, Joe Biden will not be president. So drop right at Atlanta Safe House and check out the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Build a wall around your valuables with a safe from the Safe House. We have certified delivery crews to install your safe. With over 30 years in the safe business, the Safe House is the place to buy safe in Georgia. So go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
Introducing Sonder Health Plans, your trusted local partner for Medicare Advantage in Georgia. Only in Georgia. With Sonder, you'll get comprehensive coverage that's tailored to your needs. They offer $0 primary care visits, $0 premiums, and access to a wide network of Georgia healthcare providers. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com now to learn more about their value-based care that won't break the bank. Or call 888-428-4440. Sonder Health Plans, your doctors, your neighbors, your friends.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
The Kimmer Show is back every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. only on WFOM Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Extra 106.3 FM.
They're still trying to pick a jury in New York. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Day 2 of the first Trump criminal trial.
All of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt.
Fox's Eric Shawn's outside the courthouse.
Yesterday, more than half of the jurors who were called, well, they said they could not be fair or impartial to the former president, or they had a conflict and can't serve as a juror on his case. Turns out that when the jurors were called into the courtroom yesterday, more than 50 of the 96 were dismissed. They raised their hands when they were asked if they could not be impartial to the defendant.
The former president's charged with falsifying records related to 2016 payments to keep quiet an alleged affair he denies. Israel's war cabinet's meeting again today after its military leader said they will respond to Iran's attack, though most of the missiles and drones were shot down by Israel or the U.S. and our allies.
As military planning continues, Israel's foreign minister, Israel Katz, is trying to lobby countries around the world to put new sanctions on Iran's missile programs in order to pressure the Islamic Republic following this assault against Israel over the weekend.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The House Republicans plan today to hand the Senate impeachment articles against the Homeland Security Secretary, alleging Alejandro Mayorkas ignored laws allowing record illegal immigration. Democrats say they have no case. It's a sham and may not even hold a trial. They found another body in the river in Baltimore near the wreckage of the collapsed bridge that came down when a ship ran into it last month. It's the fourth of the 6 bridge workers killed, 2 others still missing underwater.
The person with knowledge of the ship's timeline says it had electrical issues prior to leaving the port of Baltimore. The FBI wants to find out if federal laws were followed by the Dolly.
That's Fox's Gernal Scott. The city of Baltimore is also considering a lawsuit. America's listening to Fox.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
If the left made any sense, they would be right. Listen to Extra 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Y'all, I just read that drinking with your spouse will let you have a longer and more successful relationship, if that is the case.
That's how we make it work then.
Buddy, I got to tell you, me and my wife should probably be married forever because, once or twice a week, we'll have a glass of wine with dinner. Whatever. Nothing crazy.
I call it the wine fairy.
Yeah.
I will call the wife.
Is that like the beer fairy that Rhino experienced?
Very much so.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Same pusher mentality.
Okay, good.
I will call the wife and ask her, does the wine fairy need to make a stop? Because every now and then she might, a lot of times what she does is she'll put the kids to bed, she'll put on Joe Virgin River or some other show, and she'll have a glass. And, a bottle, how many glasses? Four in a bottle. So by the time we get to the end of the week.
Or 2 big ones.
Yeah, or 2 big ones. That's where I have to ask her, does the wine fairy need to make a stop?
Yes.
I love that.
I think you should stop every day. Just keep her going.
The wine fairy need to keep you well intoxicated.
Happy and well.
Yeah, University of Michigan, a researcher said that... pardon me, the pollen and the ragweed and the animal dander has...
Call Central Heating and Air.
You better call them right away.
That animal dander.
I'm telling you, it'll get you. Yeah, this study out of University of Michigan, couple who have similar drinking patterns, what alcohol literature refers to as drinking partnership, have less marital conflict and longer relationships. Not sure why drinking with your spouse is associated with better survival, but it is. You could actually live longer by drinking with your spouse.
Aaron, we're going to live forever.
That's right. We're like an Oasis song. You and I going to live forever.
Well, if you do have a companion that's able to look out for you, well, then you do tend to last a little bit longer.
That's fair.
Of couples over 50 found that partners who drink together more likely to live longer. So if you've been drinking, with your spouse, that is good news. Now, I'm not saying y'all should get lit up like the 4th of July every night or anything like that. I don't think that's what the study's saying. But it said similar drinking patterns. Like if you like to have a glass of wine with dinner or a couple.
Yeah.
Then that's good. That's good. Actually good for you.
Here's my tip.
Relationship.
You start drinking further away from the refrigerator. This way you get up, walk to get another
your
beer.
Fitbit steps
yeah,
in.
you get your steps in, come back. And, you know, when your spouse is done with their drink, you get up, go get them and yourself one. And then you do little 12-ounce curls on the way back and you're all fine.
That's right.
I get my exercise.
I love it. They did not go into what type of alcohol people should drink or how much. Just do they drink together sometimes or even often? And the ones who did live longer and have a better relationship.
Well, you have a better relationship because you pass out next to each other, so nobody's fighting.
And then usually, you know, if
Cuddling.
you have a glass or 10, I mean, if you get rip-roaring drunk, I mean, that's different.
Yeah, that's different.
Probably cause a problem, cause an issue somewhere. But if you just have a glass of wine, maybe two or
you took my youth away from me.
Exactly. I hate you.
Why are you holding my hair when I'm throwing out? You don't have it.
All right, well, okay.
There it is. Thank you, Drunk Kimmer.
That's right. Drunk Kimmer is my hero, dude. I wish, Lois, if I could just put in a request. Is there a sheet that I can fill out like a request form?
Yes.
You have to listen to the
Drunk
show
Kimmer
and then
comes
say, how do we get Drunk Kimmer to say that? And that's, we've got AI Kimmer, we have Drunk Kimmer.
Yeah, I want Drunk Kimmer to say, I just want him to read like a children's book or something, Drunk Kimmer, just because it would be fun.
Yeah.
You know, Little Red Riding Hood or, Three Blind Mice or something.
You know what we should do is start coming up with live reads and putting them in his box that he doesn't know aren't real live reads and let him stumble through it.
Do you think Flounder would?
We need to get Flounder to play along.
You got to get Flounder to play along if you're going to do that.
Yeah. Flounder will fall for it too. He just passes paper on to him.
Yeah, see, I think
but now we got to take it to the next step. Then you're having to doctor the log. Trust me, for somebody who got our friend down the hall, Home Team Brandon Leak, to do handy hardware years ago.
Dude, that was so funny.
The board op told him, hey, here's the next read. And then the card was in the Rolodex, perfectly set up, just like it was legitimate.
Oh my
and
God.
he read the read for handy hardware, which...
Do you have the audio for that anywhere?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, we got to find that. Let's
that
play
one
it,
and the
that's
Mooney
funny.
ones. The Mooney with the cat ones.
The Mooney.
I don't think I know that one.
There was
either.
We had one of them where
Chris Mooneyham is like just a great
professional too.
Pro. I mean, he does so many games.
Braves Radio Network Ben Ingram ended up doing one on accident.
I love it.
That was like the game was to always try but you had to know days ahead of time.
Yeah,
because
so
we had to
plan
get
for
the
it.
whole system set up to where it looked legitimate.
Oh my God, let's do it. We've got to try that on Kimmer, even if we have to involve Flounder.
We're gonna have to bribe Flounder.
Okay, I'm willing to do that. I mean, what do you think it would take to bribe Flounder? Because I don't know, like a
pound of weed.
Now, but I don't have access to a pound of weed.
Neither do I.
I mean,
we'll just call Willie Nelson. Apparently, from the promo, he likes that
friends.
brand. You got friends in the country business.
I don't know anybody that's. I'm not connected to anybody who is connected to Willie Nelson.
Because you're telling Flounder, I need you to willingly prank the person who treats you as the blood boy.
I know.
Okay, like there's a lot. There's a lot of dedication there.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if he'll participate.
It'll keep him young.
What point? What do you mean?
Keeping him young, having fun, joking around, laughing.
Well, but he'll never know.
But
he'll never know.
If Flounder had some crazy illness and he needed like a spleen, okay. Kimmer would gladly give him one, even
or
if
kill somebody to get there.
Right, yes.
Right.
So that's the dedication there between the two.
Yeah.
It's like, you need a kidney, I'll give you my kidney right now. That's the way. Kimmer would cut his extra kidney out of his body to give it to Flounder. And we're asking Flounder to wrong this man? I don't know if it's going to happen.
We just got the
deal. We just got the deal.
3 pounds and an unsweetened tea.
Okay.
That's not hard.
I got to tell you, that's precise.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
that's a hefty price, man.
Well, it is.
And it should be, because they have a great relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we've got, look, I don't know where to get weed. So, I mean, if you do, like,
why are you winking?
I got that.
Okay, all right, Rhino's got it. Perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like there's
we'll
somebody.
go to the border. I'm sure I could get 3 pounds there.
I feel like I could probably narrow it down.
Jack another dealer that he knows.
I could probably narrow it down to somebody in our building that I could figure out. I feel like I could narrow it down.
Look in the sales office and you look around and see the one that's like spinning in his chair. That's the guy to go to.
By the way, don't go to programming. Go to sales. How funny is that?
Yeah, that is funny.
Exactly.
Goodness. So at least we know what we got to do to get, because I love
Call
drunk
Bort's.
That's right. Bort's got all them gummies. Good Lord.
He's coming up. We'll ask him. I'm sure he can get us 3 pounds.
I don't know that.
Bring it up in the RV.
Do you think Flounder would negotiate though? And I'm sure he'll text us. Obviously, he's listening. If he would accept gummies versus 3 pounds.
Just
3 pounds. Good
Don't know
Lord,
what
3
we
pounds.
can get him to read exactly. Because yes, I would love nursery rhymes.
Oh my
like
God,
a drunk
it'd be
nursery
so
rhyme.
funny, dude. Just fire off that little drunk camera thing that you always do.
You know what? Another.
All right, well, okay.
That makes me laugh. Dude, it's so good. It builds such a visual for me.
What would probably work is a promo with a lot of alliteration. That's kind of what I think, where he would have to keep saying the same sort of letters, the same sort of words on a regular basis and see how weird it would sound.
Apparently, there's no negotiation or wiggle room here. 3 pounds and unsweet tea.
That's right, an unsweet tea. I can handle this.
I'm going to get him a gallon of unsweet tea. He didn't specify, but I'm not going to just start with a 64-ounce cup.
Right,
I'm going
go above and beyond.
Yeah, I'm going like 2-3 gallons.
He's doing us a favor. So.
That's easy to make.
All right, we got to find him 3 pounds a week. Good Lord, 3 pounds. That seems like an awful lot.
It does.
Dude, son, he'd be high for months.
He needs to be just to listen to the show all day and keep up with Kimmer.
I'm telling you.
You got to slow everything down a little bit.
So he understands them.
Yeah. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Let me tell you what the common denominator is in all of these Trump flimsy prosecution. And ABC, NBC, CBS, of course, all the networks that my Aunt Peg watches, they've left this out. They fail to talk about this one specific thing that is the connector of all the prosecutions. And the folks at Newsbuster, their executive editor, a guy named Tim Graham, says leaving this one thing out of the story is irresponsible, and he's exactly right. In all the prosecutions of Donald Trump, 90% of them, the prosecutors are Democrats.
Wow, that's weird.
90%. Yeah, I heard the sarcasm in your voice.
Yeah,
90%. Well, that's weird. Nobody. I know it's a shocker.
Boy,
that 90% of these people are Democrats. Of course they are. And probably, I bet if you dug deeper, that you would find that they're financed by Soros. They're Soros attorneys. So, but. The guy, the executive editor at Newsbuster, is exactly right. Leaving this part of the story out is irresponsible, because we heard from Vivek Ramaswamy last hour when he talked about the whole game in this hush money trial and how they're trumping up the charges, no pun intended, when they won't prosecute actual criminals. This is a misdemeanor at best, and it's past the statute of limitations, but yet they're still doing it. They're still pursuing it. And Alvin Bragg, Rhino, ran on, I'm going to prosecute Trump.
Well, not only Alvin Bragg, but so did Fonnie Willis and Letitia James. So you have the game that they want to play. It's weird that we allow our politicians to pick who's going to be a judge or nominate who judges are. Well, why do we do that? We want them to rule in our favor, or whoever's favor that appoints them at that point. And there's no shock whatsoever that the DOJ, who is obviously political and has worked for the Biden crime family, will continue to make sure that they put these cases in areas where Donald Trump will not get a fair trial and they have influence over him.
I thought it was interesting yesterday to see Donald Trump come out of that courthouse and to bring up some of the aspects of, so I'm supposed to be here every single day for this trial.
Mm-hmm. So even though I'm running for president,
I can't campaign. And then brought up, I'm not even able to go to my son's graduation. And again, he's trying to pull on some heartstrings here. Like, he's still playing politics from the courthouse steps, and that's smart, because if you're not allowed to be out on the campaign trail, you're going to have to do it one way or another. But the more ridiculous that this is on a daily basis, I think that actually does help as much as anything else.
But it's so disingenuous for those networks to just pretend like this is not happening. They would.
Oh, they're pretending this like a legitimate case.
Yeah, for sure. But see, that's the thing. That it all hinges on we're pretending that this is real. We're pretending that this is not flimsy. We're pretending that you can't see through the politics at play, and they're as disingenuine as they've always been. And that's never going to change. It's like the NPR thing. We learned we got that peek behind the curtain that they're as disingenuous as it possibly comes. 87 Democrats in the newsroom, 0 conservatives and or Republicans. That tells you how disingenuous all this is.
It's so disingenuous, but you know what? If I'm Donald Trump, I love every minute of this. In fact, stand on the court steps. Talk about how wonderful your son's become, how you can't wait to see him graduate. Talk about the attacks that other news organizations and those editors at those news organizations personally attacked your young son. Continue to talk about that because he wins. He doesn't need to campaign. This will not only pull on the heartstrings of people, but people are going to go, you know what? This case is BS, and they're taking away a moment that every parent wants to see, which is the graduation of their child. I think it's a winner for Donald Trump.
Well, I think you need to highlight on a regular basis. You need to point out, look what's happening, for instance, with the Biden family. And there's not one time they're going to see the inside of a courtroom over the stuff that they've done. Yet, here I am. Bring up different stories that's going on around the country of look what this person just did in this state, and yet they're never going to have a day in court because they're going to be let go by rogue prosecutors, and yet here I am fighting for you. Draw that line. That's how you play this game on a daily basis.
I want you to guess how many stories that ABC News did while only revealing that Alvin Bragg, the AG. Is that easy?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. Alvin Bragg is the
Manhattan
DA.
DA.
He's the DA. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, misspoke. One time, in an ABC broadcast, one time they said he is a Democrat. That came on February 26th. Do you know how many stories they aired in that time when they told you one time that he was a Democrat? 56. 56 stories. They mentioned it one time. At CBS, the evening news, they did 48 stories on Donald Trump and the hush money trial. You know how many times that they told you the DA was a Democrat? 0. That's how many times. You don't talk about trying to mislead. They would present this as these are just hard-working people trying to make sure the law is upheld.
Yeah, okay, sure. But here's the problem. People are dying in the streets. I think Donald Trump brings this up, and I think he needs to continue to reiterate this. There's no crime in who's the victim again in this? Stormy Daniels, who made how much money? Got money out of it. It's something that's going to happen. It's not a crime, by the way. So let's talk about that because every day people are getting pushed in front of, they call them shovers now, by the way. My friends in New York call them shovers. That's people who push people in front of trains. They have a name for them because it happens more than we see because we're not there. These people are getting attacked in their own communities. And I'll tell you right now, it's not the gated communities on Long Island. It's not where Barack Obama is. That's not where the crime's happening. It's happening in Alvin Bragg City. And he's taking up this because it's a political hit job instead of protecting the people of New York and their families. I would continue down that path and I would continue to show how they will not let him go to Barron's. Don't even talk about the Supreme Court. That's ridiculous too. But the fact of the matter is, go ahead, take the graduation away because that will just lead Trump into the White House.
I just think about the level of propaganda that you get on a regular basis and how often one of the tried and true ways that the news media will try and spin a story is that whenever there's any kind of violent act and it involves a minority person, they will then show you a picture of like their high school graduation. They'll show you them when they looked in middle school. They won't show you the current day look of this person where you go, wow, that person lived pretty hard and they look pretty rough. You're always being fed a certain level of propaganda. If you're not turning on the news and going, I need to take about 10% of this as real, and the other 90% is an agenda. I don't care where you turn on that TV. If you're not looking at stuff in that regard, then you're doing it wrong.
ABC, CBS, and NBC, they labeled brag as a Democrat 17 times total in 163 stories.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, April 16th. Judge Beryl Howell rejected Rudy Giuliani's request for a new trial in the defamation case that awarded Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss more than $148 million in damages. Giuliani has since filed bankruptcy. It's unclear how much, if anything, Freeman and Moss will actually receive. Giuliani has also appealed the jury verdict to the U.S. Court of Appeals. That appeal is still pending. The U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will be in front of the Senate today to answer to the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee regarding oversight of the U.S. Postal Service. Metro Atlanta customers have voiced concern over packages and mail that never got delivered. Representatives from Georgia, including the two state senators, Barry Loudermilk and Mike Collins, have all signed on the letters demanding answers from the Postmaster General. The hearing begins at 10 a.m. And in sports, Austin Riley had 3 hits, including an RBI single in the 9th. Marcell Ozuna and Orlando Arcia also singled runs in the 9th to give the Braves a 6-1 win over the Astros last night. The Braves remain 2 games ahead of the Phillies in the NL East. The Braves and Astros play game 2 tonight. Reynaldo Lopez will be on the mound for the Braves. First pitch scheduled for 8:10.
Just like the Braves won last night, you win this morning when you get to hear from Neil Bortz, the talk master. The only place you get Neil is on Xtra 1063. He's up next.
Hey, it's Flounder, and The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m.
This guy's a disgrace. Christopher the Cossack Ray, suspected Russian double agent, in my opinion. The federal Gestapo of investigation. He's a confirmed perjurer. He's been lying forever. He lied about the whole thing with the going to school boards and the white people who complain about school. He lied about that. Oh, we never had anything to do with that. My ass sure did, and we got the memo.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Xtra 1063 and the Xtra app.
It takes a certain type of person that'll roll the dice, that'll say, yep, I'm done working for you. I'm going to work for myself. And it takes a big pile of money. I mean, you got to use everything that you've saved to start this business. Now you've got it up into a point where you could really make a difference, but you just need just a little more cash. I mean, businesses need cash all the time. This isn't a new phenomenon. Going to a bank and getting it used to be a way to do it. You used to be able to get cash from a bank. Nowadays, banks aren't loaning. They're not lending to people, specifically small businesses, which is crazy because they are the backbone of America. That's where First Liberty Building and Loan comes in. FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. They say yes when big banks say no. They create financial solutions for your next big thing. Maybe it's expanding your business. Maybe it's buying out the competition. Maybe it's buying a building, building a building, whatever it is, buying a franchise. Maybe it's some of those things. Whatever it is for you, First Liberty Building and Loan, the Frost family down in Noonan, they've been doing this since the 90s. They understand business and they can help you. It takes about 10 minutes to see if you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you. They say yes when the big banks say no. From $250,000 to up in the millions of dollars. Whatever you need, they can help you. FirstLibertyGA.com. If you're in business and you need cash, get a loan from First Liberty Building and Loan. FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
Hey, sandwich lovers. Today's your lucky day. There's a whole new way to roll for lunch or dinner delight with Nucky's Hoagies in the Roswell Corners Shopping Center. Now open. Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell is family owned and operated by the Sub-Sisters, Stacy and Shannon, whose love language is food and Nucky's Hoagies, their passion. When you bite into a Nucky's Hoagie, you'll taste the difference. The softest hoagie rolls ever, along with hunger-quenching sandwich combinations. Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner.
Neil Bortz here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now, I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, cpapsetc.com.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
You may have seen the Bortz billboard all across town. Let everyone know Bortz is back and his new home is Extra 106.3.
Yes, sir. The only place you can hear Neil Bortz is on Extra 106.3 throughout the day. The Bortz Reports. He checks in once a week with the Kimmer Show, but you always get him on Extra 106.3. And we're so happy to have him. We're so delighted to talk to him. Anytime we get a chance to break bread and exchange stories and ideas with the Talkmaster, it's a good day. Neil, what's up? How are you?
I see they got I-75 shut down again up there in Atlanta.
Yeah, Henry County, I-75 South, once again, shut down right now. All lanes blocked. That's your traffic red alert here.
There you go.
No, that means, I don't know what's going on, but in Atlanta, as I said yesterday in the commentary, they will shut down all lanes on an expressway if somebody loses a lug nut.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. This happens to be, they say, a overturned rig. So I'm assuming a tractor trailer here.
Have you all ever, I mean, you need to for your listeners. You need to experience this for your listeners if you haven't already. One afternoon, drive south on 75. Just, I don't know, go to Forsyth, do something, and then turn around and try to come back into Atlanta on I-75. That bottleneck starts somewhere between McDonough and Forsyth, is world famous for a horrible bottleneck that nobody is doing anything about. And it is so typical Atlanta traffic. I got a chance to drive through there in the Bortz bus twice over a 10-day period, going up, coming back. I had to go visit the world's largest convenience store.
Oh, you went to Boosie's?
The Buc-ee's, huh?
Oh, well, the world's largest Buc-ee's.
But yeah, what is Neil Bortz's review of a trip to Buc-ee's?
I think it's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's privately owned. No, you can't invest. Forget it. There's no stock. And it started, of course, in Texas.
Yep.
And I think the place is just absolutely amazing.
Their Twitter page, Neil, is
the last time we were there. Donna, please go into the bathrooms. You've got to see this.
You've got to see the bathrooms. I'm glad somebody else enjoys that as much as I do. So clean.
It's amazing. And if you're in Atlanta, you're either going to go down there to Warner Robins, you're going to go north to Calhoun. Now, here in Naples, we are a couple of 100 miles away from the nearest Buc-ee's.
Which one is that, St. Augustine?
The nearest Buc-ee's for us, if you're going north on 75, would be Warner Robins, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, I think you can get over on the east side of the state and maybe encounter one.
Mm-hmm.
But, no Buc-ee's has any less than 100 gas pumps.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they have, ethanol. And the other good part I love about it is no tractor trailers, no trucks. It's only recreational vehicles and small cars.
Oh, by the way, did I hear one of you people call the Bortz bus a damned RV?
No, sir.
No, never.
We would never make that. That's a sin, sir.
I hope not.
No, I'm not sure. Maybe
I'm the only one who's asked you if I can have it.
Joe.
and it's not a camper either.
No, we
not
never.
at all.
We never
we would never insult the Bortz bus in that regard. Never.
I would.
You were talking radio pranks. What's the best radio prank you ever pulled on one of your coworkers?
Well, so I did one in a morning show on the country station back in the day where we had an artist. We told the artist that they were going to be involved in a contest where we asked trivia questions. Little did the artist know that the person that we had on the line as the contestant was in on the gag. And so we told them, you're going to win a Toyota if you can answer this set of questions. They already had the answers. And then they got it all right. And he's celebrating, I won a Toyota. And I was like, no, you won a toy Yoda, like from Star Wars. And he was like, this is bull crap, losing his mind. And the lady's name was Heidi Newfield. She was in a band called Trick Pony. And he's like, Heidi, you knew this was going on and I hold you completely responsible. She had no idea. And she was like, sir, I know it. She was near tears and we had to tell her finally that it was all a gag. Man, she cussed us up one side and down the other.
Well, there was a lawsuit somewhere in Florida over a similar thing.
That's right.
Hooters.
That's where I got That's where I got the idea when I created that contest.
Now, none of you people are old enough to remember Hank Morgan.
No, tell us about it.
Hank Morgan. Hank Morgan was play-by-play for the Atlanta Crackers baseball team. Iconic. And in fact, he is the one that sat and held my hand the first time I did a talk radio show, just to make sure that I knew how to put a collar on the air and all. But what a wonderful guy, Hank Morgan. But anyway, he was unflappable. You could not get to Hank Morgan any way. No way. You could pull the old trick about making it sound like you're taking a leak in a trash can in the corner of the studio. Nothing worked until one day. Hank Morgan is reading the news, and some guy at the radio station, this is back in the Ring radio days, a station which I don't believe exists in any meaningful form anymore, but anyway, they strip naked and jump up on the table, and they act like they're going to they're going to relieve themselves on the table, and Hank just keeps reading the news. Never breaks. Never. So the guy gets discouraged and he starts to climb down. And as he's climbing off the table, he releases an SBD.
Oh no.
Yes, silent but deadly. And the paperwork, Hank Morgan's paperwork with the news, just kind of fluttered in the breeze. And that was it. Hank Morgan completely lost it, and it took an SBD to do it. If people at home knew the evil stuff you do to each other on the air. I did one to a TV anchor in Atlanta one time. I went into the TV studio, and I got the chair the anchor sits in. This is back in the day of the vibrating pagers, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So I took the seat off the chair. I quickly cut out a little section of the cushion, put my pager in there, put the chair back together, went home, and I'm watching the news that night, and I start dialing my pager.
That's awesome.
Oh, well, I mean,
the first Donna, watch this. Watch this. Donna had no idea what I was up to because she wouldn't permit it. And all of a sudden, you see the newsreader pause and her eyes kind of got big.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I love it.
The one time that I really got someone good was when I changed the compression on the mic in the studio so that when they were talking, their voice was like super deep and they couldn't figure out why their microphone was doing it. And we pretended, and then he wanted to switch mics. And every time he switched mics, I'd switch the compression and it would just drive him absolutely insane.
I do not have the technical skills to pull that.
Well, you know what we did to poor Kimmer? Kimmer told a story about having an encounter with a young woman, 21, 22 years old here in the building, and how she stopped to
Kimmer's
talk with
had
him.
enough. He's had plenty of encounters.
Yes, he has. Well, I mean, so we took
But
it.
this one was really just a sweet one.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a sweet, friendly, just moment in time. And so, Joe, do you have it ready? Okay, just want to play this. What we did is we slowed it down, and now we refer to this as Drunk Kimmer.
All right, well, okay. This is, now I'm embarrassed. It's so silly. Last night, leaving here, and I go in the parking garage, you go through a little, like a passageway area, and you get to the two elevators. And then,
So this is what we've now done to Kimmer. We've now been having fun by grabbing his audio and either speeding it up, slowing it down, or using AI to make fake promos. And we keep dropping it into our regular station programming. So this is our little, again, harmless prank, but little fun stuff we get to do with him.
As long as you don't have management that gets their bowels in another room, you're having fun.
Yeah,
like this.
everybody around here
Everybody's
is pretty
having fun with
laid
it.
back, man. Everybody's laughed at it. Even Kimmer laughed at it.
Oh,
he
he was
played it on his
dying
show.
laughing.
Yeah,
He died
got a
laughing
kick out
at
of it too. So that makes it so much fun when even the person that you're pranking embraces it and laughs too.
So, okay, a couple of more things. I mean, I didn't get a chance. I slept in. I've been driving that bus for 3 days straight now.
The
And
RV?
I just
the camper.
Yeah. Don't call it the camper or the RV.
He said, bite me.
I want to take the cars of these idiots that don't know how to get onto an expressway, that slow down on an inch. I want to pull them out of their car, tip their car over, and burn it right there.
Good Lord.
But
That makes you angry.
I mean, what is the matter with these people? At any rate, one of the things I really enjoyed seeing coming down 75 was all the car carriers going north on 75, because I know they've been down here in my home, Naples, picking up all of the cars for these snowbirds out of New England and New York and taking the cars back home. And, y'all leave. Bye-bye. Good riddance. See you next. Well, you can't say that about them. They contribute so much to our economy. Yeah, and our traffic. And, of course, they're down here looking down their nose at everybody down here because we're a bunch of swamp people, skunk apes that have no idea what we're doing. And it's always better in New York. It's just a little colder. That's why we're down here. Goodbye. Just go north and stay there for a while. But I love seeing the swallows come back to Capistrano in the spring, and the car carriers come back to Naples with these dang Yankees to come down here and drive our economy for a while. I'll have to say that.
Neil, I want to ask
y'all
you
know
this.
how much you... Yeah.
I want to ask you this because you've been real vocal about this, and I know how much you love protesters blocking roads. Yesterday, once again, the pro-terrorists blocked the San Francisco bridge. They blocked the way to Chicago O'Hare. We're trying to figure out a way, and I know you have good ways to get rid of these people.
I said lock them up for 25 years, Neil. That's what I want to see done.
Well, they absolutely ought to be locked up, and for a long time. But the easiest way is just to dump boxes of spiders on them.
I love that idea too.
You get these little, they're somewhat harmless, and they're just maybe about a half an inch across each, but just dump tens of thousands of spiders on these people and watch how the hell quick they get off the expressway. If you live near the ocean, you can get little crabs, but some of them probably have crabs anyway. Not most of them.
That's what I was waiting for.
That's right. The crab talk. I knew that was coming.
I thought
I'm not even as scared.
I had an excellent way. Remember when we had this in Atlanta, these bridge jumpers that they'd block the expressway because somebody's standing on this bridge and they're going to jump, right?
Yep.
Okay. Here's a way to do it. First of all, you need a sniper.
Okay.
But the sniper is shooting rounds basically of chalk.
Okay.
So and he's hidden from view down the road a ways, and one of the cops says to the jumper, "Look, we just got word on radio. We've got a warning. Somebody out there with a rifle is going to shoot you if you don't get." And then the sniper puts a chalk wound into the side of the bridge, maybe 10, 15 feet away from the jumper. Somebody is shooting at me. Watch how fast that preface gets the hell off of that bridge.
Look, your planning is impeccable. You thought about this for a while.
And the spiders for the people blocking the road.
I love it. That's look. It needs to be
or the crabs
or the crabs
or the crabs. Yeah,
and they need to be locked up for 25 years. Lowe says 60 days. I say 25 years.
60 days is harder than you think, Tug.
Well, right, but I just want it to be.
But I'm just saying it's automatic. I'm like you get in the road. It's 60 days.
Can you go for that?
I would also be in favor of a law that says if you push these people out of the way at idle speed, no foot on the accelerator, but let your car move forward at idle speed, okay? Then the argument could be made, I didn't do that, the car did that, but non-prosecutable. And it only takes running over a few of these jerks before they stop doing this.
It only needs one or two. Certain times people need to be made examples of, right?
I know, and it's for the common good. Aren't we all out there for the common good?
Huzzah.
The common good dictates that you make a tortilla out of one of these roadblockers somewhere.
Look, it's hard to argue with you, man. I got no argument with anything you've said. So
road tortilla.
Who doesn't love road tortillas? I mean,
did you have a Postal Service story I heard this morning?
Yeah, and your headlines, Rhino.
Yeah, so the Senate. So we've been having a lot of problem here in Metro Atlanta where people have been mailing everything out through USPS. In fact, I mailed something out on March 14th, and I have not got, and I certified through the Postal Service, have not received either the form back, so nobody signed for it, and I have no idea where the mail is, which was documents that needed to be signed. But a lot of people have continued to complain about this. Mike Collins, representative of the 10th, Barry Loudermilk, and of course both senators now have signed a letter to the Postmaster General saying they want answers as to why people in Atlanta and the metro area are not getting their mail delivered.
Well, I still have my USPS identification card.
Wow.
My wife and I, back in the early days where we just had to do anything in the world legal, I loaded trucks at a truck depot. I did it all. We worked the night shift at the parcel post or whatever it is over near Marietta Boulevard for the Postal Service. So we were postal workers at night, tossing boxes around. And I got to tell you this, my job was to stand at the top on this tower-like contraption that had one conveyor belt coming up with packages. And this is way before automation. I take the package, I'd look at the zip code, and I would send it down an appropriate chute into one of those big canvas bins so that it could be delivered the next day. And one day I'm up there and these boxes are flying down those chutes. I'm doing a good job. And all of a sudden the conveyor belt stopped.
Uh-oh.
So what's wrong? And this brute comes walking up to the platform where I am.
Brute.
Yeah. Oh, he was a big mama. And you're working mighty fast, aren't you? Well, that's the job, man. I'm getting these boxes out of here. We need you to slow down. Why would I slow down? look, I'm the shop foreman here for the union. And if they know we can work this fast, we're not going to get overtime at Christmas. So you need to slow down. I was a sloth for the rest of my tenure with the United States Postal Service.
So you fit right in. You blended right in.
Yeah, I mean the union back then. I don't know. Maybe things are different now. Maybe they donate kidneys and stuff.
They're not.
But
Rhino's story would convince you otherwise.
Yeah, back then you didn't do the job efficiently and quickly because that would get you in trouble with your coworkers.
Good.
Is that my theme music? Are you getting rid of me already?
Well, no, Neil. If you want to stick around, you can stay for another segment if you want to.
Yeah, well, I'll stick around for a little bit.
All right, good. Then, fine.
The Queen is still asleep, and I've got a computer that works, so why not?
Well, let's go. More of the Neil Bortz program during the Morning Extra next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Los. Neil 2 until 10.
You want to be ahead of it? You want to be at the water cooler? You want to have the information first? Well, tune in because Tug, Rhino, Carlos, we're going to have it for you.
Only place you'll get it, and the place you'll get it first.
The Morning Extra, 6 to 10 a.m. on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
True Prep on Cobb Parkway is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. They are locally owned and operated. You can visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's TRU-prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
My name is Jamie High, and I have worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years. Why do I work for Bruce? Because he truly cares. He cares about me, he cares about my family, and he cares about each and every one of his clients. Family is important to him, and he never makes me choose between my family and work. He values me as an employee, but also as a person. At our firm, we are all family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I am Jamie, and I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 14 years because he's the best. Hagen-law.com.
Tax season can be stressful, but it's also a wake-up call. It's time to think beyond April and plan for your future. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we're not just advisors, we're your partners in building a secure retirement. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we understand the challenges Georgians face. That's why we offer personalized strategies to maximize your retirement income, minimize taxes, and ensure you never outlive your assets. Join the Master Plan family and let us guide you through every financial milestone. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your appointment today. Master Plan Retirement Consultants, where your journey and destination are both important. Visit masterplanretire.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
The Atlanta Braves invite fans to come experience the brand new Blue Moon Beer Garden at Truist Park, located in right field, offering the largest variety of Molson Coors beer options and unique food pairings. Plus, there's a special ticket offer for the new space for any weekday game during the regular season. Tickets are only $30 and include a grandstand reserved game ticket and $15 added value to use toward food or beverage. Lock in your seats now for Blue Moon weekdays at Braves.com/Blue Moon. Atlanta Braves baseball. We are Braves country.
Millions
of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and the Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
A bonus segment of the Talkmaster Neil Bortz on Extra 106.3. During the break, Neil, we were joking about doing an AI version of Neil like Los did with Drunk Kimmer, and then he came up with the problem of doing that, Los.
There's nothing I can have you say, an AI version, that's going to actually shock anybody. That's the challenge I would have.
Just the
try this. There's an article in Slate magazine. Headline: I'm dying to have a threesome with 2 men. Why does every attempt fall apart in the same way? Because you're doing it wrong. A threesome is not 2 men and a woman. It's 2 women and a man, and everybody knows that.
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
Tug was in the Navy. Of course he knows this.
There's all kinds of things happening in the Navy.
So if whoever wrote that article, it just, come on, lady, go to the Urban Dictionary, look up threesome, and then, follow those instructions.
I didn't have that on my bingo
Like
card.
I said, AI Neil would not be any more shocking than regular
exactly.
Neil. I would have to have a fake version of you reading poetry to people, or like Tale of Two Cities, to make anybody go, whoa, that's different.
Do you know that the taxpayers of this country once paid $750? Not a lot of money, but we can imagine that whoever coughed up that $750 might have had something else they could have spent that money on, like a prescription. But anyway, there was a poetry magazine, a literary poetry magazine, and somebody that fancied themselves a poet. And this magazine would not print their poem, so they went to whatever part of the government it is that funds the arts, and they got a $750 grant to pay to have this poem published. And just think, it was a 1-word poem. You can write it down right now. It's only 1 word.
Right.
Lighghgt. That's the word.
Lighghgt?
Yeah.
You got it.
That's it. And our government masters decided that it was a better idea to spend that $750 so this lady could buy an advertisement in a poetry magazine and print that word than it would be to let the person who worked for and earned that money, and it was real money back in these, to keep that money and spend it on something for themselves or their family. And that's the way our government works and has been working for decades. And I'm not going to ask you guys what you paid in taxes this year.
Oh, I sent. Yeah. Put it this way, Neil. By the time that I finished it up and then hit the transaction button, it was not fun. Hasn't been fun for the last few years.
Same here.
This is my annual gripe on tax day, which was yesterday. My annual gripe. You walk up to the average numbnuts out there and you say, how much did you have to pay in taxes this year? And they're going, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting some back. And you want to headbutt them. Yes. You want to headbutt them into oblivion. Indeed. right there. Because that that is the way the media and the narrative and the politicians have structured our tax system in this country, so that they steal this money from people all year long and then refund maybe 5% of it on tax day. And these people, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting some back. And if we had to, could you imagine the change it would make in Washington if every April 15th we had to write a check for the taxes we owed?
Oh, my God. That's what it feels like for me.
Yeah, it already feels like that.
And that's the way it used to be. Originally, here, it's tax day. Write a check. Oh, no, we've got to withhold. That way they're not really, how much money do you make? Well, I take home. I didn't ask you how much you got to take home. I asked you how much money you made. Do you even know? Well, I take home. They have the tax system so structured that people don't know how much taxes they're paying. And at the end of the year on tax day, if they get a paltry $15 back from the IRS, I didn't have to pay anything. I'm getting some. It's just irritating to the nth degree, as you can tell.
Yes, and it will not change anytime soon. That's why we need the flat tax. That's why we need you to get out there and start ringing that bell again.
Yeah, I just pay a consumption tax. That's what I pay.
That's right. There you go. It'd be great.
Y'all are determined to get rid of me. Remember, it's not two guys and a woman. It's two women and a guy.
Got it. I wrote it down.
Yeah, seriously. Let's
I'm bringing it home to show.
This urban dictionary you speak of, this is awesome.
You ever looked it up?
Oh, yeah. I love Urban Dictionary.
So good. Neil, thank you so much, man. We got to hit a Fox News update, but we love having you and love talking to you and can't wait to do it again soon.
Neil, look up one word on Urban Dictionary to know what happened to me one time. Look up jalapenos. Not jalapeno. Jalapeno.
Sounds spicy.
All right, we got to run. Be good.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
Well, good day, everybody. Maybe it's time for an update on what is racist. Well, that's worthless. As we all know, everything is racist. Video on the internet. Big old fat woman stopped for shoplifting. She resisted. They put her down and put handcuffs on her, all the while she's screaming, "Walmart is racist! Walmart is racist!" Yeah, you guessed it. She was black. But since everything is racist, let's talk about white supremacy. Yeah, that's the big code word right now. We have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they are spending big bucks on efforts in California to dismantle white supremacy from math education in government schools. We have a guide that the foundation sent to California teachers, telling them that when it comes to teaching mathematics, getting the right answer should not be the focus. The focus should be on understanding the concepts and reasoning. Okay, children, what's 3 plus 3? It's 8, teacher. Well, do you understand the concept of adding? Yes. Okay, then 8 is right. Didn't Bill Gates build his fortune on something that required exact mathematics? Anyway, the teachers are told that here are some of the elements of white supremacy. Perfectionism, wanting to get something right, is white supremacy. Let me cut to the chase and go to the end of the list. They just don't give me enough time here. Individualism. Yeah, considering yourself to be an individual and not part of some racial identity group is white supremacy. Individualism, always the enemy of leftist politics. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Well, Stephen, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
Why?
Well, we ran your background check and there were several red flags.
Like what?
You were arrested 7 times for reckless driving.
So
you're applying for the school's bus driver position.
If you're in charge of hiring for your company, you know how helpful a background screening can be. That's why companies that use Horizon background screening make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com. horizonscreening.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey fans, Xander from Atlanta Painting Company here, and with spring on the horizon, the home team won't be the only ones painting corners in Atlanta. This spring, save 10% off all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is, to protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we are the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company. Painters you can trust.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
Special delivery at the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. House Republicans will today hand over impeachment articles against the head of Homeland Security.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and Secretary Mayorkas is, in my view, the worst cabinet secretary that has ever served in the history of the United States.
And House Speaker Mike Johnson just demanded on Fox that Senate Democrats hold a trial on articles accusing Alejandro Mayorkas of ignoring laws, allowing record illegal immigration, but Democrats may dismiss the case, calling it a sham and a policy dispute. Speaker Johnson also told Fox a short time ago the House will vote this week on separate foreign aid bills.
Look, I think there's a lot of support for Israel, obviously, on the Republican side. Clearly, on the Democrat side, they have a real division over that. It's been pretty shameful, actually.
No, another vote will be on aid to Ukraine. Some Republicans say we've given them enough. Others side with President Biden, who says Ukraine needs more support in the battle against Russia. Israel's war cabinet is meeting a second day in a row after its military leader, Herzi Halevi, said last night they will respond to Iran's weekend attack.
Iran will face the consequences for its actions.
Most of Iran's missiles and drones either failed or were shot down. The U.S. and the UN have urged Israel to show restraint. Former President Trump will soon head back to court in New York this morning for a second day of jury selection at his first criminal trial.
It's a political witch hunt. It continues, and it continues forever. And we're not going to be given a fair trial.
More than half the prospective jurors on day one were excused, telling the judge they cannot be impartial.
The former president is charged with illegally falsifying business documents to hide the scheme to sway the outcome of the 2016 presidential election by paying Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about their alleged affair. Trump denies it.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the New York court. The Supreme Court will consider a Trump-related case. One of the convicted Capitol rioters is challenging a law used to prosecute him and hundreds of others. The obstructing an official proceeding charge is also in the Trump federal 2020 election indictment. America's listening.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Support conservative conversation on the radio in Atlanta by emailing us at sales@xtra1063.com.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. We're on the air until 10. Then the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton local afternoon show with Drunk Kimmer 3 until 6.
Is Bort still here? He didn't want to leave.
I know.
Well, I heard from our operations manager, Scotty McFarland. He highly suggested that we continue this entire board's conversation in terms of talking about his pop-up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, his
pop-up camper.
His pop-up camper.
His RV.
Yeah, his pop-up camper that he has to crank open so the roof goes all the way up, and so that's where the Queen is having to stay.
The crank broke. He had it where you hook it up to the the truck.
Yeah.
And then it automatically goes. But then if that breaks, he has to hand crank it.
Yeah. Imagine having to live that way.
That's horrible.
That's how the commoners live.
That's right.
I think we should AI Borts as a MAGA extremist, like the ultimate Trump or QAnon Borts. Just with
and then Rhino threw in Flat Earth, too. Like,
yeah.
You got to get it all in there.
I think, you know what? There's a possibility of this working. This would be a lot of, we would have to take a lot of his commentaries.
Yeah. Shouldn't be that big a problem, right?
But the problem is those have music underneath. And so...
No.
That's, I know when it fades, but you
we get them natural.
Yeah, it's all... everything we get is dry.
Okay,
we put that in as an after effect.
So there is a button on your email called forward. And I want you to forward...
All right.
Everyone.
Quite a few of them to me.
Okay.
And I can start working on this.
Because I'd love to hear Borts talk about Jewish space lasers.
Yes. We can try and see if we can create QAnon Neil for Flat Earth Neil. Because the joke has been, and as much as we all grew up as big fans of Neil, it's a pleasure, it's a privilege to get to talk to him.
Apparently.
Oh, no, I guess not. He just wasn't aware.
We hear him talking bad about him all the time.
All the time.
Hang on, I missed something. I was trying to figure out how to get you all this stuff. Me and Joey were talking
about his pop-up camper.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of mean.
Okay, well,
you brought that whole thing up.
I mean, think about how...
Y'all brought it up. I just piled on.
And you said nobody likes him one day.
That's what you did say.
You've been at him this entire time.
I know, whereas I have a deep respect for that man. And so the idea of... And the joke was, when it comes to AI, I can't get him to say anything that he hasn't already said.
Right.
So now we have to create the most ridiculous things to say. Flat Earth Neil.
I think it's going to be great. Because
we already have him saying the ice froze at the end. That's why the water doesn't fall off.
That's right. Just giving you crazy flat earther ideas.
Do you think he'll take it as well as Kimmer did?
I think that he would be more impressed with just the technology.
Okay.
Because it's Neil, in my opinion, has always been on top of what that sort of stuff is in the world. Like when he was one of the first people that told you about how criminals were using AI to make fake phone calls to you to demand money. And so he's plugged into this stuff, but he's never had the situation where somebody used it for comedy and turned him into a flat earther.
Well, let me tell you.
And I think he'd be impressed.
I think he'd be really impressed if every QAnon Borts report started with, I drove my camper to
the edge of the earth. Dude, look at I'm showing what you can't see right now unless you're watching on the YouTube channel. These are all Neil Borts reports.
All right, send me
I mean, how many do you? There's like 9,000.
Honestly, I only need probably 5.
Okay. All right.
You send me 5 of them, and I can start doing the voice cloning, and I can try and start creating a flat earther who drove his pop-up camper to the end of the earth.
Can you hear him talking about? I had the Queen out in our pop-up camper.
In our pop-up camper.
She's out changing a tire on the pop-up camper.
Think about it.
Making her do it instead of him. That's good.
That man was syndicated in hundreds of markets, and now we've reduced into a pop-up camper.
Hold on one second. The Queen's siphoning some gas.
That's right. Into a milk jug.
The man had a plane he would fly around that he decided, all right, you know what? It's time to sell the plane. Here's how I'm going to sell this residence. I'm only going to stay in Florida, and you've reduced him down to a pop-up camper.
All right, buddy. Check your email. You should have at least 5. And
all right.
I'll 500 more. You tell me.
No. If I got 5 should be enough for me to at least get started and see what I can create out of this thing. The AI is,
I love it.
If it's clean and it's ridiculous. And like as you told me, it's clean, so I just got to put it together.
Yeah, everything you hear is all post-production. Everything he sends is all
perfect.
Just drive voiceover, drive VO, as we call it here at the old Radio Ranch. Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Xtra. They say 8:15 is the most stressful time of the day. 8:15. Like for me, 8:15. Maybe because we are already at work and we've been at work for a couple hours, but 8:15 to the average person is the most stressful time of the day, and they estimate that they lose 20 minutes to unexpected morning chaos that begins about 8:15. Now, before y'all did morning radio, do y'all remember 8:15 being that stressful? Because 8:15 that's just a random time. But
I did.
Oh, okay,
but
right.
that because when you have daughters that are basically 3.5 years apart, you have two different bus schedules.
Sure.
You have two different schools. And so it was always basically 7:30 to 9:30 was always like the stressful time. But that middle part where you're trying to get one over here, one over here, one over here, it was the apex of crazy for us.
It's funny because the study that was done and the people that they talked to, they give you 5 ways to make the morning go smoother, but they highlight exactly what you just said, Los.
Wow.
It's all about the kids. It's all about the stress of kids, getting them where they need to be, doing the things that they need to do. Did they lose their homework? Did they do their homework?
Yeah.
And you're
Put your
taking
sock back on.
It's exactly right. Why'd you take your shirt off?
You can't go to school naked, Leo.
Why is your cereal in the toilet? You know, I mean, there's all the crazy
shoes on
things.
the wrong foot again.
All the stuff that happens, and it all comes down to kids in the morning. So, and I never took that into account when I first started reading
Well,
it.
your
and
kid
Lowe's
came out full grown.
Huh?
I was like, apparently, he was able to take care of himself, whereas
no, it's just been so long for me.
That was always the stressful time, and also too. Let's face it, like you have worked in morning radio before, and so a lot of that fell on your wife to handle.
That's right.
And so I this is the first time where I've had an extended amount of time where I'm not getting the kids out. For the longest time, it was when I'm working afternoon drive, I'm the one who's handling the wake up, get them going, get them and just the next thing after the next thing after the next thing.
And for anybody that don't know, and most of you probably do, but anybody that's checking in the show for the first time or a newer listener, Lowe's worked over on our sister station, 680 The Fan, and created the Chuck and Chernoff program, which is the #1 sports program in Atlanta, Georgia. And so like his focus was the afternoon. Now we've drug him over to the dark side. Now he's like Darth Vader, you know? He's a pariah.
Oh, definitely. But that was always by the time we hit, at one point it was 3 o'clock, but now it's 2 o'clock with that show. All right, that's when the day would really begin. And again, you're doing stuff in the morning, but it's stuff you can go ahead and handle. So now flipping this over, now my wife is the one where every single morning I always send the quick text message, hey, how you doing? How the girls doing? Because I know that stress. Because that was my stress for the better part of 11 years.
Now, I remember, that the 10 years doing Morning on the Countryside, it was, you really actually missed out on a bunch of stuff, too, like first days of school, not being able to see them for the first day of school, first day on the bus, for all of that stuff. My wife actually and son created their own birthday tradition that I had never partaken in.
Yeah.
What they would do is anytime...
This is really Cats in the Cradle starting now.
Yeah, right.
Here it comes.
They would have birthday cake for breakfast. Like, that was their tradition. It's something that they started. Now, I thought it was crazy. I was like, why are you going to jump this kid up on sugar and then send him to school?
You don't have to deal with them, of course. Why not?
Teachers, good Lord. But that was something that they did, and I was never a part of it until, gosh, I guess it's been a few years ago now, but for many, many years, for 10 years, they had a full tradition every year that I just had no part in, had nothing to do with. It was fascinating to see it all come down. Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3. Laura Logan, she may have been on to something.
So if you recall, when the Francis Scott Key Bridge fell over in Baltimore, when the giant tanker, the giant transport ends up hitting it and it goes down, Laura Logan was the very first person as a journalist who says, my contacts within the government and within the intelligence field are telling me that this is a terrorist act.
Yeah, a black swan event.
And you had a number of people that were including us, we're like, well, let's just wait and see.
Yeah, let's wait and see.
Let's just see what this is. And then it turned into, no, this is an accident. Well, as of yesterday, the FBI has opened up a criminal investigation to look into what's going on. if this was legitimately just an accident, well, then fine, it's an accident and it sucks, but we see how it affects the infrastructure of this country and the shipping in this country. But if Laura Logan's right, I wonder if the FBI will legitimately be able to tell us, yeah, so this is how this really played out, and it was the Chinese, like Laura Logan's been telling you it's a terrorist act from the Chinese.
Or would they even tell you?
Or would they even tell you?
That's
I know.
the thing. I don't trust the FBI.
Is the FBI not there to cover as a secret police?
Or they're covering something else up.
That could be any and all of those.
Because, think about this. A terrorist act on our soil, that's what it is. How bad does that look for any administration?
Well, it looks horrible. It looks very horrible, but it also really works for an infrastructure plan and program that the administration has pushed forward with an infrastructure bill. Remember who they said would be paying for all this right away? It was us, the government. We're going to get right on this. We're going to fix it up. The Democrats, I mean, there are many different possibilities. I don't trust the FBI in any regard whatsoever. This could be a cover-up. Go and get the information that we need to show that maybe we did this. Who knows what they've done to try to bring, I don't know, maybe wag the dog away from some of the bad press. But I think with the flag that we've seen, with who the carrier was, I think that I guess when she first put out there that there's a good chance that the power went out because of a hack, that this is a computer-controlled system, it really is kind of logical at this point, right?
I'm fairly open-minded to everything at this point. Like, I could believe, I could be convinced that it's just a mere accident. However, with evidence, I could be convinced that it's not. I think I stand on, like, a little bit of a peak right now, and I'm trying to figure out what to make of it. Because let's be honest, there's not many of these things that have happened. You could see why a foreign entity would want this to happen, and then you could see a foreign entity in not like a government, but a company that just doesn't do the prepared and routine maintenance on these huge ships because it costs millions and billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They don't. And then something ultimately happens. I could see both of those being a correct answer.
Sure, yeah, I can as well. And I can see a third opportunity where, just like I believe the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago to find documents that they needed to get back and they needed to hide,
right. Yep.
I could see the same thing happening here. It's a very scary thing to think that we are being attacked on our soil, but how can we put that past us with all the information that we have about who came across this border? How can we put it past us after Chinese started sending spy balloons over? How can we put it past us that, I don't know, they've hacked our pipelines, they've hacked our computer systems, Fulton County got shut down from... There is probably interference in this. And the first, I always believe that, your first intuition is your best intuition.
See, but my first instinct was that it was an accident. If that's the case, then maybe I should believe
mine was different. Mine was different only because every time I looked at, and maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist, and that's who I am a lot of times, but I can believe anything now. But when I see a ship that says the power went out, and then it turns at a 45-degree angle like that, I just don't understand how that happens. And I'm not a maritime guy. I'm not, I don't know much about it, but everybody I read was like, hold on, maybe they were able to turn it that quick when the power came back on, but it just seems a little bit weird.
Well, hold on. You kayak on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So maritime a little bit.
A little bit,
yeah,
yes,
a little bit.
That's true.
But
quite different.
It's a little bit different.
Quite different.
It's a lot easier for me to put my paddle down and turn.
I'm sorry I reduced your naval service down to the same thing as this man.
Yeah, what do you know?
I want to go kayaking with you.
Yeah,
so.
what do you know, Tug? I
Not
kayak
much.
and paddleboard.
But there's interesting aspects of this.
No, there is.
Again,
Absolutely.
I'm the same boat. I looked at it and said, well, it seems kind of strange, but let's just wait and see.
Yeah.
The part that jumped out to me that Laura Logan kept bringing up was when you had intelligence officials that were saying, first off, this thing shouldn't even be in this shipping lane. Like the place it ended up seemed very strange. And so as she's the one who keeps pushing all this stuff, I'm like, all right, it goes off to die. And then we talked about the insurance companies not being allowed. Here's the government's going to go ahead and pay for all of it. And then the FBI goes, well, we got to get a look at this thing as
immediately too. And that was really, really quick. And maybe it's probably not that surprising that somebody wanted to investigate immediately. Because if there's any crime, it doesn't matter where it is. I mean, the investigators getting on the scene to figure out what happened. If it's in downtown Atlanta, for that matter, you're going to do that. But yeah, man, the all of this feels cloudy to me, and I think that's the part that irritates me the most is I don't know how to feel because I don't trust anybody anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot. Look, there's a lot of. I'm gonna just throw out more conspiracy theories, and I'm gonna go run with the one I have. And you could call me crazy, you could call me whatever you want. I'm not saying anything about that. I think the FBI did this or that it's.
No,
but I'm just saying
I don't know.
It could be plausible.
Absolutely,
if everything I've seen. And here's where I'm gonna pull it all together. They're having a real hard time with the vice president, okay? They are looking for a black vote. Well, let me tell you who probably the best alternative to that is. His name is Wes Moore. He's the governor of Maryland. The Biden administration has brought him here to Atlanta because they want to push him to the black community more than anyone else. He is now in charge of making sure this happens. He is in the national spotlight. He was kicked in there as soon as possible. And this happened 1 week after he was here with President Joe Biden, not the vice president. He was here with President Joe Biden pushing that.
This is crazy.
It is crazy as can be. But what a way to get him into the national spotlight. What a way to say, hey, this is what a black governor looks like. This is the kind of person we want as a leader. Yeah, I'm going off on a tangent. And yeah, I might be going down QAnon Bort's kind of ways.
QAnon Bort's.
But I mean, I don't put anything past this government anymore or this administration.
Well, I'll give you an alternate theory here, and he's the one who has to be called crazy. He started off by saying, call me crazy.
Yeah, call me crazy. I'm the one who's crazy.
But the idea of you and I holding up rifles at one another and shooting at each other is old school. That's like old dirty war.
Yeah.
The new thing is cyber warfare, and it is so much more advanced than everyone understands. That when you start to quantify and get what governments can now do to one another in a cyber warfare environment, this is not a surprise to people that know this stuff. If that's the way it was
exactly
put
right.
together,
Dude, that's
where I think that to me is if Rhino wanted to duel you, like back, we're talking 200 years ago,
he would
say 5 paces, and the gentleman thing to do was duel. Cyber warfare has become the duel. It's become the gentlemanly thing rather than I'm going to nuke you and you're going to nuke me. No, that's for the slobs.
Yeah.
We're going to go at it in the cyber warfare game.
It's the smarter way to do it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the easiest
just as
way.
damaging.
It's just maybe even more damaging.
Within 3 days, if you were to shut down our power, shut down everything,
it would be anarchy.
Half of us would die.
It would be anarchy.
Yeah. In 3 days, half
but
of us
that's
would
where
die.
I think this is the interesting element of this is that if we've now gotten to a place where this is seriously a cyber attack that had created this, whole new ballgame.
Morning Extra at Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. When we come back, we'll knock out the headlines. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Also, Marco Rubio calls out Biden and his political strategy to appease the pro-Hamas crowd in the Democrat Party. Next on Extra 106.3, the Morning Extra until 10.
The Kimmer Show is only live on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
University of Texas at Austin getting rid of their diversity, equity, and inclusion department. They laid off all the people who were in that department. So, of course, now the college students are demanding that, saying it was racist and that it was unfair, and they were terminated, marginalized groups, and nobody cares about us anymore in America. Also, not only are protesting against Jewish people, but now protesting against getting rid of DEI programs because they want DEI because that's now what all the college kids are saying. They hate the Jews and they want DEI, inclusion and equity for a program period.
Didn't earn it.
DEI didn't earn it.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Join A Second Chance Bail Bond CEO Daniel Madelon and host Tug Coward for the weekly radio show Back Your Blue. They will highlight special initiatives, criminal justice programs, and community events aimed at keeping our communities safer. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to learn some good news about and from the law enforcement and justice communities. Tune in on Saturdays or catch up on all past episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at thepodcastpark.com.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
What are your plans for your business this year? Hey, it's Tug. Do you want to expand and grow? Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you got a new person to deal with? You have to start all over again? You don't have that with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they want to know you. Unlike big banks, they want to partner with you. The Frost family knows the patterns. They know the ebbs and flows. They know business. Get to know them at firstlibertyga.com. Building a building, buying a franchise, expanding. Reach out to them. Spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. You do that at firstlibertyga.com. And by the way, if you're a young banker and want to work with a team that is faith-friendly and has a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to them today. First Liberty Building and Loan. firstlibertyga.com. That's firstlibertyga.com.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
Hi, I'm Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack. We specialize in only foundation repair. What makes Atlanta Ramjack special is the crews. Our crews are the most experienced people in the industry. Foundation repairs has many aspects. We do helical piers, hydraulically driven piles, we do polyfoam injection, we pressure grout, we do carbon fiber reinforcement. There's multiple solutions to foundation repairs. If you see any signs of foundation issues, please contact us at atlantaramjack.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
My name's Jeff Criswell. I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives, Georgia's 6th District. I'm a Republican. I'm very conservative. I'm sort of a middle-of-the-road kind of person, which I think in Georgia District 6 is really going to work to my advantage because it's a very diverse district. You know, if you ask me right now, the big issue is immigration. Also, the cost of living. My goodness. The numbers are crazy. It's so much more expensive now to live, to go buy groceries, to buy gas. We've got to do something about the cost of living. And I believe that all of that is linked to the national debt, which would be my third sort of an issue here. We've got to stop spending money that we don't have. The reason I think people should vote for me is because I am brand spanking new to this business. I am going to bring a very new perspective to this. Go over to jeffcriswell.com. That's Jeff Criswell, CRISWELL.com. Hit that donate button. Help us out. By all means, we want to partner with you because we can win this district.
This message is paid for by Jeff for Georgia 6.
No traffic, no big deal. It's the Morning Extra on 106.3.
Tug, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. We've talked about this before, and I just ran across this, and I sent it to Joe because it is something that needs to be relived, and we need TV shows that do what the old TV shows do, or did. You know, remember when Mr. Drummond and everybody was talking about the horrible things that happened, and they had to talk to Gary Coleman's character Arnold in what was that? What's the name of the show?
Murder, She Wrote.
Knots
Landing
with Gary Coleman. Oh my gosh, when he was adopted.
90210.
No, you're gonna make me forget it even worse. Goodness, what was the name of the TV show that Gary Coleman was famous for? Different Strokes. Thank you, Ron.
Sorry.
Good
I liked my guesses better.
No, yeah, but then that threw me such a curveball that I couldn't get back to thinking about the real stuff.
I was sitting there going, wait, hold on.
Oh, my Lord.
So you're telling me it wasn't Murder, She Wrote?
No, it wasn't. Or 90210. I can see how
Gary Coleman, Murder, She Wrote.
Like, what are you talking about, Lois? And you're making me, you're confusing my already cloudy brain.
Just him standing on a milk crate.
Yeah.
I solved it.
But remember how we talk about, like, the TV shows used to have, like, they always had one episode that had a message.
Yes.
And then at the end of G.I. Joe, they always had the really great message about teamwork and all the things that you should and shouldn't do. I ran across this one from He-Man, and I was just like, oh, my Lord. This is one that people must hear.
Shira and I want to talk to you about something that's very personal. Your body.
Remember, it's your body and no one should touch you in a way that you feel is wrong.
I'll get anybody who tries it.
It's not that easy, Orko. It's hard for a young person to admit that he or she has been touched in a bad way.
If you've been touched that way, don't be ashamed. Tell someone you trust, like your parents, your doctor, your teacher, or counselor, or your minister or rabbi.
Right, Orko?
Right on.
I mean, that was on He-Man, y'all.
Yeah.
I used to watch He-Man I don't remember that episode. Do y'all remember that episode?
I don't remember that episode. I'm surprised. I do remember the Different Strokes.
I remember really
Bicycle
well.
Man. I remember him and Dudley getting, in a tub and all that stuff.
So you're getting me to sit on the couch, and I will tell you that I have like 2 different childhoods.
Okay.
I had the one where, the parents were together, and so I would watch the Smurfs and Gummy Bears and X-Men and Spider-Man. And then I had the childhood where the parents were divorced and all I watched was HBO.
Oh, wow.
So
that's
like
probably a little later in life, though, right?
No, it's like 6 years old on.
Okay. All right.
So, for instance, when you bring up He-Man, I'm like, sorry, missed me.
You missed it. You
all
missed
of Disney.
The cartoon stuff.
Like, I can tell you
I loved He-Man, but I don't remember this at all.
I can tell you more about First and 10 and the California Bulls on HBO.
Wow.
There you go.
That's a
right
way
there.
back.
We didn't have HBO. Mom and Daddy.
Did you look up Dream On? Dream On on HBO
God.
with Brian Ben.
I was not allowed to watch that one.
Yeah, well, that was, again, when you're 8 years old, 10 years old, and there's...
Okay, I remember...
And mom's asleep.
Being a show. I do remember Dream On as a show, but I've never...
Tales from the Crypt.
Dirty
I
Tales
remember
from the
that
Crypt
one,
I watched
definitely.
a lot.
Because I remember going over to my buddy's house, and he had HBO, and I remember staying up real late, so you could watch the old HBO After Dark, and you'd be like, oh, my Lord.
I hid behind the couch. Dad would be out there, pretending to watch Jets football or whatever.
And then he would flip over.
It'd be like Real Sex or whatever those shows were.
Telling you, like, when you bring up G.I. Joe, that was the early part of the childhood.
So you remember, you did watch G.I. Joe?
Oh, I remember G.I. Joe.
Yeah, did you watch it, though?
I remember it generally. Like, I could probably name characters and stuff like that. But
Cobra Commander, come on.
Like, for instance, when my wife was telling me, what do you mean you've never seen Lion King?
Because you were on the other side. You were watching Tales of the Crypt.
By that time, that's what happened to me.
You're watching Skinamax.
Like, unless it was shown in elementary school. So when you bring up, like, we watched this. Gary Coleman, I have no idea what show. I knew who he was.
You never watched Different Strokes?
Never.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, man, your childhood sucked.
I'm just saying, it just went
such
off
a great
the deep,
show.
It went off the deep end.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these other shows I was watching were not for kids.
No kidding, man. I remember Facts of Life. I remember Different Strokes. I remember I was really young when, like, I remember seeing the reruns of MASH and the Archie Bunker show.
Yeah.
And all those. My mom and daddy watched.
Now, I was Alex P. Keaton. When I was growing up. Like, that was kind of
on
me.
Family Ties.
Yeah, so Family Ties was like, I loved that show.
Yeah,
And
it was a good one.
Remember, he was big into Reagan at that time.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was the
that was a
outcast.
fun one, yeah.
He was the outcast.
Then they brought in that stupid kid at the end. What was his name? Andy? I didn't like that kid.
And by the end, things are
Like, we're having another baby. Stop, hippies.
Yeah, right. That's right.
By the way, so when you're all about designing women...
Yeah, Mom and Daddy did watch some in Designing
All right,
Women,
so
for
you're
sure.
watching Delta Burke on Designing Women?
Yeah.
Oh, no, she was season 1 First and 10 on HBO in 1984.
Oh, wow.
That's who I knew who she was.
Well, I don't know what First and 10 is.
It was a comedy series based around a football team called the California Bulls.
It was awesome.
Okay, all right.
It was funny.
Was it any good?
Yeah. No, come on. It was good. For us when we were younger, it was fun.
But you know who else was in it? O.J. Simpson.
Yep, sure was.
Oh, my.
The cast was Delta Burke, O.J. Simpson, Shannon Tweed, John Mastuzak. Let's see if there's anybody else that's of note. But this was a comedy series on HBO, and so I remember watching this when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, because at that point the parents were divorced, and suddenly my TV viewing was a little bit different.
Yeah, wowzers, dude. And
then you watched every Shannon Tweed video on Cinemax after that.
It's all moved this direction. Got a little bit older.
Because I remember Designing Women. They were really Southern, and it was based in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I remember that show so well. My mama loved that show. Good Lord, we watched it every
What was the
week.
one with Brett Butler? I remember that one, too.
Because she's from here, too.
She's from here, too, yeah. That was a Southern kind of
Designing
comedy,
Women
too. It was
started
really
in
funny.
1986. So that's where, again, Delta Burke goes from this HBO series over to Designing Women, and I was like, I know who she is because I saw her on HBO.
Grace Under Fire.
Grace Under Fire.
Was so
we watched
good.
a lot of that. That was a really, really funny show. I'm trying to think of the other show that was around that time that I used to watch, too, and now I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a bunch of good, but I just remember so many cartoons always had the message
Always
at the end, or some sort of message interwoven into it, and TV shows, and now we've heard from He-Man. So
I'm like, man, I never thought that someone would try to come at me with a Kung Fu grip, G.I. Joe, but now I'm kind of scared.
Now you got to worry. You got to pay attention, for sure.
Boy, I used to blow those things up with M80s. My dad would be like, what happened to that aircraft carrier I spent a lot of money on? I'd be like, well,
it was in war. What do you expect? Where's hell? What do you want? Man?
I started blasting.
That's the truth.
I had a G.I. Joe with the parachute, and I can't remember which one had it, and I put him on a bottle rocket. And that was awesome. Except he was all burnt on the back, and it didn't really work the way I wanted it to, but it was pretty cool.
G.I. Joe Airborne. I'm trying to find his name because I see him. G.I. Joe Parachute. He had to have a name, though.
I don't think he had one. I think it was just like Parachuter or something stupid.
It could be, but like I see a bunch of G.I. Joes with Parachute, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't give the name for the character, which is so weird. Anyway, so yeah, it was just an excuse to play.
Transformers was the other one. You always got a message at the end of Transformers.
That's exactly right.
Now I remember that too.
Yeah.
Optimus Prime had to let you know.
Yeah. And that's the only thing that I think is
don't jaywalk.
Right. Sometimes it was that simple.
Yeah,
you
then
know what
you'd
I mean?
see the police car transformer come up and be like, that's right. It's against the law to cross the street. Plus, it's dangerous.
That's right.
It would actually be funny to hear that same message about being touched in places that you shouldn't be by Optimus Prime.
Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe AI.
Don't ever let anybody put a banana in your tailpipe.
It's like, what Optimus, huh?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Don't let people touch you in your bathing suit area. I'm telling you, be crazy. Maybe that's the next. After we
start
get done,
honking your horn like I do.
After we get AI boards done, maybe we'll go and do good messages with AI Optimus Prime.
So we'll have to let Neil know ahead of time that we've uncovered Neil conspiracy theorist
QAnon Neil
thoughts. His AI version of him.
Yeah, what he might sound like if he were a QAnon extremist.
I think this is going to work. We'll see.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I hope he takes this. I think he will.
Of course he will.
Like just like Kimmer found it funny, I think he'll take it really well too. But
or he'll start referring to us as the bastards as well.
Wouldn't it be great though if we were to leave one day and he just had pulled his pop-up camper out front waiting for us?
Yeah, just ready to pick you off.
Yeah,
as you walk by. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. I was glad to see Marco Rubio calling out the pro-terrorist groups because I'm so tired of them, Rhino. I'm just sick of them.
Oh, God. Yeah. And he's calling about, look, Biden, it's no secret whatsoever that he is playing both sides, right? I mean, he's pandering to whichever group he needs, and right now he's pandering because he's like, I can't lose Michigan. This is ridiculous. Let's start pandering. So Marco Rubio came out and just said, hey, the fact that our president is sitting here and leaking personal conversations that he's having with Netanyahu to appease these pro-terrorist groups is absolutely ridiculous. And all he's doing is trying to appease at this point, get through the election. He doesn't care about a ceasefire. He doesn't care about what's actually going on there. All he cares about right now is winning an election, and he is appeasing these ceasefire activists.
And it's funny because with the folks in Iran, when he told them don't, they did. And he told Israel, don't retaliate. Guess what? The Israelis are like, dude, we'll do whatever in the world we need to do to defend our borders. He is so incredibly, it's not a surprise. We all know he's weak. But to see it play out in real time is gosh, it's disheartening to see America just be a shell of itself.
But you have to drive this point home. The communist depends on foreign policy only so they can influence domestic policy. If you look bad abroad, they don't care what happens abroad. They just want to make sure they don't look bad so that they can accomplish whatever they want to at home. So, yeah, a man who's basically butchered up this entire place for the last 3 years, now you're seeing the same Joe Biden, how his policies work over in the foreign area. Now it makes it to where people don't trust you on either end.
I know neither one of you has information or intelligence into this situation, nor are you part of the government, but I'm going to ask you to see if you might know the answer.
Okay.
Let's just say a terrorist organization attack Israel. What do you think Netanyahu's response is going to be?
He's going to attack them. He's going to defend his nation, just like anybody with their head screwed on right would do.
So the U.S. should already know, and they already know that they're not going to stop Netanyahu from retaliating, and that was Marco Rubio's point. You're not going to stop him. We already knew that if anything happens, Israel's going to retaliate. We saw it. October 7th, we even stood up there and said they have every right to go ahead and retaliate for what happened to them and the tragedy that happened on October 7th. Now, all of a sudden, they're leaking out, well, Joe Biden is really being tough on Netanyahu, telling him, don't.
We'll see how well that worked before.
Continuing, right. The don't thing is, and the reason, we told them not to do it. We told them do not retaliate. He's not going to listen. They already know that. This is only to appease voters. This has nothing to do with foreign policy. It's a joke, and he has no respect, not only here in this country, but all over the world. Nobody respects this president.
And why would they? There's no reason. He's given no one any reason to respect any decision he makes, foreign or domestic. That's why he's got to go in November. He has to go. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT and centralheat.com.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Tuesday, April 16th. Judge Beryl Howell rejected Rudy Giuliani's request for a new trial in the defamation case that awarded Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss more than $148 million in damages. Giuliani has since filed bankruptcy, and it's unclear how much, if anything, Freeman and Moss will receive. Giuliani has also appealed the jury verdict to the U.S. Court of Appeals. That appeal is still pending. The U.S. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy will be in front of the Senate today to answer to the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee regarding oversight of the U.S. Postal Service. Metro Atlanta customers have voiced concern over packages of mail that never got delivered. Representatives from Georgia, including the two state senators, Barry Loudermilk and Mike Collins, have all signed on to letters demanding answers from the Postmaster General. The hearing begins today at 10 a.m. And in sports, Austin Riley had 3 hits, including an RBI single in the 9th. Marcell Ozuna and Orlando Arcia also singled in runs in the 9th to give the Braves a 6-1 win over the Houston Astros last night. The Braves and Astros play game 2 tonight. Reynaldo Lopez will be on the mound for the Braves. First pitch scheduled for 8:10. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Next, 2 reasons to like the new Masters champion, and both of them are aside from golf. On Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays, anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Good morning, it's Lowe's. Let's talk about Echo Power Equipment. And where do you get that Echo Power Equipment? Of course, you do what you've done for years. You head over to see the good people over at Howard Brothers. Hard work is always better when you're doing it with a friend. And Echo Power Equipment can be that friend to you. You can trust them. You can hang with them. It's because Echo Power Equipment will help you get done your outdoor projects faster. Even the most grueling projects, you can get done faster with Echo Power Equipment. You won't be spending your hard-earned money on throwaway equipment. That is the importance about Echo and the important thing about Howard Brothers. The staff there is going to be able to show you how it works, how to maintain it, how to get years of use out of it. Howard Brothers, that's one of the things that they're able to do. You are not going to get the same level of expertise if you head to a big box store. That's not how that's going to go. When you go over to Howard Brothers, it's start to finish. You decide on what piece of Echo Power Equipment you want. They'll assemble it, they'll gas it up, and they'll show you how to maintain it and how to use it properly so you can get years of use out of it. The grass is always greener when you take care of it with Echo and with Howard Brothers.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Everybody wants to feel like they're getting a good deal. That's why EMC Security customers love their monthly rate from just $16.95. In fact, for such a low price, you'd think you'd have to sacrifice service or quality. Not with EMC Security. You get it all. Low price, A+ Better Business Bureau rated service, lightning fast response, and flexible purchasing options, including their popular no contract option. Visit emcsecurity.com or call 770-963-0305 today to learn how you can get a free security camera with new activation.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
You shouldn't need a degree in finance to choose a checking account. That's why we made Truist One Checking. No trade-offs, no compromise, no hassle. Just the stuff you want from a bank that cares. And that means no overdraft fees, lots of practical perks, and automatic upgrades. Truist One Checking. One simple choice. Visit truist.com/one. Truist.com/ONE. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Introducing Sonder Health Plans, your trusted local partner for Medicare Advantage in Georgia. Only in Georgia. With Sonder, you'll get comprehensive coverage that's tailored to your needs. They offer $0 primary care visits, $0 premiums, and access to a wide network of Georgia healthcare providers. Visit SonderHealthPlans.com now to learn more about their valued-based care that won't break the bank. Or call 888-428-4440. Sonder Health Plans, your doctors, your neighbors, your friends.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
Your voice, your vote. And this year it matters more than ever. So for the unbiased election coverage that affects your family and your community, trust the voices that matter when it matters the most. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
I think Scotty Scheffler has brought me back to watching golf. I watched the Masters this weekend and was so impressed by the way he played, so impressed by the way he handled himself. Dude is just a complete guy. He's an athlete. He wants to win. He has incredible drive and determination. But he's also a guy that said, if my wife goes into labor, I'm leaving this $3.5 million sitting on the table. Now, the likelihood of that happening, as Lowe's pointed out yesterday, she's about 3 weeks out, so it's probably not going to happen. But the fact that he was like, if it were to, I'm out of here. I love that.
I do too. I wonder, though, can I be honest? I wonder if this is his first event. Is that the same story? If he's not a millionaire already or hasn't won as many events as he has.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it's the same thing. You wouldn't leave if you were just in your first Masters.
Maybe.
And this was your first mid. But maybe. But the fact that he'd still do it and still sacrifice is so amazing to me. And I believe him.
I believe him because of what happened 2 years ago. So the whole story was he got up on Sunday, and he's right there in the Masters, and he's freaking out. Like, he's just losing his mind. And the anxiety's getting to him, and his wife is the one who talked him down and talked to him about his faith, and he ended up riding that right into winning his first Masters. So the idea that that's how important she is to him and that family's important to him, I fully believe that he would split out of that thing, first and foremost. It's just, there's something there that's bigger than a golf tournament for him.
And I'm glad you said that the way you did.
Yeah.
Something that's bigger. And I want you to hear him talking about that specific thing. If you're looking for a reason to cheer for Scheffler, this might be that reason.
Sitting around with my buddies this morning, I was a bit overwhelmed because I told them, I was like, I wish that I didn't want to win as badly as I did, or as badly as I do. I think it would make the mornings easier. I love winning. I hate losing. I really do. And when you're here in the biggest moments, when I'm sitting there with the lead on Sunday, I really, really want to win badly. And my buddies told me this morning, my victory was secure on the cross. And that's a pretty special feeling, to know that I'm secure for forever. And it doesn't matter, whether or not I win this tournament or if I lose this tournament. My identity is secure for forever.
Dude, when I heard him say that, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. And I go, this dude gets it.
Yeah.
So many people in this world do not get it. Scottie Scheffler gets it. And that is why I'm a fan of his. And then there was one more thing he did. If you watched, even if you didn't watch the Masters, even if you have no interest in golf, that's fine. You can still be interested in the man and what makes this man tick. And obviously, there's, for him, something bigger. Something that's more important than fame and fortune. That would start with his faith and his faith in God, his faith in Christ specifically. But then on top of that, his faith in his family. Why is it so important to him? Because he has traditional values. His values probably really mirror yours. And I want to show you let you hear what he did when he was making that walk after he secured the victory at the Masters. You're going to hear him call out to someone, and it's his caddy.
This was really cool.
You know who led the way? His caddy.
Hey, Teddy! He doesn't want to make the walk alone this time. That was great of him.
He hugs all of his family members, stops, calls his caddy, and it's like, you're leading the way to Butler's cabin.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until moments ago when board op Joe Virgin River told me his caddy Ted Scott, that's his fourth Masters.
Yeah.
That he's been a champion of the person. I guess you'd call him a champion too.
Sure.
He's been the caddy for 4 different Masters winners, including Bubba Watson. How about them dogs?
Yeah, I mean, you get a good caddy like that, you keep a caddy. I mean, you want the same guy, and they're brilliant. I mean, I'd do anything to have a brilliant caddy like the ones that are on this tour. Scottie Scheffler, and I worked for the American Junior Golf Association. I did a lot of scoring for their events, a lot of their big events. One of the big events we used to do was outside of Dallas, and it was a beautiful event. It was the HP Byron Nelson Classic, and this was a young Scottie Scheffler player there who I believe he may have won that event that day. But what I noticed about him was the family, because they all moved to Dallas from New Jersey at one point. The family, he has, I believe, 4 sisters. It's either 3 or 4 sisters. He always took care of his sisters, loves his family. His parents were always there for him. And it shows that having a father, having a mother, having a family that takes care of each other, that's the kind of boy you'll raise, a champion. And even if not,
it doesn't
a
matter about
Masters
the
champion,
but a champion in
a
life.
respectful and a champion in life. And that's who Scottie Scheffler is. He's always been a young, respectful respectful young man. I only knew him when he was younger. Have not seen him since then, but what a great kid. Always has been.
It was just really cool to see with his caddy. So he's holding the flag from the 18th. And typically the caddy hangs back. That's what you do. And he made it a point. No. You're leading the way. Like, he just stopped. And he's yelling at him like, hey, get up here. The caddy kind of gives him a look of like, who, me?
Yeah.
You know, like hold on, this is your moment.
Yeah, right.
Like, no.
It's
you
our
lead us in.
moments, just to share it.
It was
to
cool.
Share that. But yeah, man, because he doesn't have to do it, and he recognizes that without that caddy, he doesn't win this tournament. And have y'all ever seen it? And Rhino, you working a little closer to golf, and years ago, may have seen it a little closer than I have. Lotion, you covering on the sports side, may have seen it more than I have. I paid attention more to it this time than I ever have before. When a ball gets hit in the trees and they're trying to figure out the best way out.
Sure.
And the camera zooms in and you hear the golfer talking to his caddy. And the caddy's he's got the lay of the land. He knows everything. And these guys know these courses inside and out, and it doesn't matter at all if you care about golf. It's the fact that these people are experts in the field. Mm-hmm. If you value meritocracy, like we all do, and we all say we do as conservatives, then you have to appreciate the wealth of knowledge that person brings. And then for the golfer who's got millions of dollars on the line to go, you know what? I'm listening to this man. That's meritocracy at play. You're seeing it happen in real time.
Oh, absolutely, because every caddy is also a great golfer. I mean, it's very rare you find a caddy that can't play golf unless it's a family member that they bring in. But even then, you have these caddies walk that course from every single sprinkler head to every mound. They measure, they go to the green, they spend so much time. And this is every time they go to that course. Now, they do have books that they keep and they know all of this, but they also know exactly how you hit the ball in what wind. So if it's 12 miles per hour, you hit this 5-iron, 206, he knows that. He knows exactly what that player does. They are invaluable. They're also the ones, and I'll tell you, Phil Mickelson, the one thing he loved about Bones for so long was Bones would beat anybody up for Phil Mickelson. I mean, that's how loyal he was. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're protecting your golfer. You're making sure they know that course. They, along with the swing coach, two most valuable people you can have on your team.
Well, the guy out there, the good ones, they're part therapist.
Yes.
Because it's a lonely game.
I even heard someone a caddy ask a golfer, hey, how's your mental headspace?
Oh, yeah.
Right before the shot.
I'm telling you,
you're a sports psychologist, for sure.
You're part sports psychologist therapist out there. And so when you get the right guy and you're winning big stuff with him, that's your guy.
I don't have time to go into it right now, but Joe said something in my ear, Board Up Joe, Virgin River, that was nailed. He nailed it. Go look it up. Servant leadership, and that's how he described the caddies. And I just looked up because I've heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. Go look it up. You will be impressed with servant leadership because that's the way I want to be too, man. Just with my own family and the people that I spend the most time with. When we come back, the judge in the Hush Money case refused to recuse himself. Shocking, I know. Next on Extra 106.3.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
Well, good day, everybody. Maybe it's time for an update on what is racist. Well, that's worthless. As we all know, everything is racist. Video on the internet. Big old fat woman stopped for shoplifting. She resisted. They put her down and put handcuffs on her, all the while she's screaming, Walmart is racist! Walmart is racist! Yeah, you guessed it. She was black. But since everything is racist, let's talk about white supremacy. Yeah, that's the big code word right now. We have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they are spending big bucks on efforts in California to dismantle white supremacy from math education in government schools. We have a guide that the foundation sent to California teachers, telling them that when it comes to teaching mathematics, getting the right answer should not be the focus. The focus should be on understanding the concepts and reasoning. Okay, children, what's 3 plus 3? It's 18. teacher. Well, do you understand the concept of adding? Yes. Okay, then 8 is right. Didn't Bill Gates build his fortune on something that required exact mathematics? Anyway, the teachers are told that here are some of the elements of white supremacy. Perfectionism. Wanting to get something right is white supremacy. Let me cut to the chase and go to the end of the list. They just don't give me enough time here. Individualism. Yeah, considering yourself to be an individual and not part of some racial identity group is white supremacy. Individualism, always the enemy of leftist politics. Neil Bortz, Extra, 106.3.
Hey Atlanta, it's Ben, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Peach State Pride. Each and every weekend, we bring you all the issues going on around the globe and what America's ultimate role is in order to drive our agenda forward as conservatives. And if you ever miss an episode, you can download everything I've ever done on Apple, Spotify, or you can go to the podcast park. See you around, Atlanta.
Pack your bags and join the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team in Dublin, Ireland as Toby's Leather to kick off the 2024 football season in Dublin. The Aer Lingus College Football Classic will feature your Yellow Jackets versus the Florida State Seminoles in a special Week 0 matchup on August 24th, 2024. Don't miss this unique opportunity to visit one of the world's most popular travel destinations while cheering on the Jackets on a global stage. For travel packages, tickets, and more information, go to gt2ireland.com. Sting 'em.
Hey, it's a Kimmer. Look out. The Kimmer Show is live every afternoon from 3 to 6, just like the Kimmer.
Meanwhile, the NAIA, which governs 250 small colleges around the country, has banned transgender athletes from competing in the women's sports by a vote of 20-0. And this is pretty cool. That's finally somebody is showing some balls, literally, and is showing that there's
support the women. What happened to support the women? I thought we were all for it was all the women. Me Too movement and believe the woman, and all of a sudden they say, well, women, you can be a guy.
The Kimmer Show every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision.
This hasn't happened in 148 years. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The House will deliver impeachment articles to the Senate today for a cabinet secretary.
The Biden border catastrophe is the number one priority of House Republicans, and it remains the number one priority of the American people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson tells Fox the Senate must hold a trial on the articles accusing the head of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, of ignoring laws, allowing record illegal immigration. But the Senate's Democratic Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says there is no crime here, and there may not be a trial.
As I've said repeatedly, impeachment should never be used to settle a policy disagreement. That would set a horrible precedent for the Congress.
Speaker Johnson also tells Fox they will not follow the Senate's lead on the stalled foreign aid bill.
The will of the House is to address it in single subjects.
Meaning separate votes this week on military aid to Ukraine and Taiwan and Israel. It's war cabinets met again after the Israeli military leader vowed to respond to Iran's weekend attack, though most of the drones or missiles were shot down. Fox's Trey Yingst is standing next to the shell of one of them in Tel Aviv.
This is about 70% of the entire missile that was launched from Iranian territory. The Israelis don't know what the exact target was, but they do know it was either shot down or it separated as it entered Israeli territory. We also know that there was a 500-kilogram warhead on top of this missile. That's about half a ton of explosives.
Former President Trump has arrived at a New York court for day 2 of jury selection at his first criminal trial. More than half the prospective jurors questioned yesterday were excused, saying they could not be impartial. Trump attorney Alina Habba tells Fox.
There's no chance of a fair trial here. Remember, just because it's a jury doesn't mean that the judge can't sway them to go one way or another.
The former president just posted on Truth Social the judge hates him and the trial's rigged and unconstitutional. He's charged with falsifying records related to 2016 payments to keep quiet an alleged affair he denies. America's listening to Fox News.
Don't let everyday aches and pains keep you from living your best life.
I don't think I really understood what people meant when they talked about pain until I started feeling it myself.
Start feeling better every day with Relief Factor. a daily supplement designed to support your body's fight against aches and pains.
Not only do I move better without pain, I just feel better.
Created by doctors, Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients that target 4 metabolic pathways to address pain. Relief Factor doesn't just mask aches and pains, it helps reduce or even eliminate them.
Today, I do the things I love, and it doesn't occur to me to think about pain.
You can feel the difference all day, every day.
Join the over 1 million people who have tried Relief Factor's 3-week Quick Start Kit. It's only $19.95 and comes with our Feel Better or Your Money Back guarantee. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Finally, there is conservative talk in Atlanta, Georgia.
Tug, Rhino, and Losa on the Morning Extra and Extra 1063. I can't remember where I brought this up yesterday, but I told y'all that my brother-in-law was on vacation last week, and he saw the O.J. Simpson white Bronco, the one that O.J. rode in, that Al Cowlings drove, and it was at the Alcatraz East Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. As I read about this thing a little further, it is only on loan at the museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They want at least $1.5 million for it. They plan to sell it. So they're going to take back the loan that they've after the loan is up there. I guess there was a certain amount of time that this was going to be on display. And they said it has always been their intention to sell the OJ Bronco on the 30th anniversary of the chase. Just so happens that OJ passes this year too.
Yeah.
So this is like a coincidence, but it seems like it's going to rack up some money for the people that actually own the white Bronco. They want at least $1.5 million for it. And they said they've already been offered up to $750,000 in the past. I bet, my guess, y'all tell me if I'm wrong, that number goes higher than $1.5 million.
Oh, I think so. Probably about $2 million, but you got to do it this year because I think after this year or the next year, it goes away. Yeah, it loses value. You see it so many times, like the baseballs. I always follow Todd McFarlane, who is an unbelievable artist, known for Spawn, but also did The Amazing Spider-Man for quite some time, which is one of my favorite comics. He used to buy all the baseballs, right? So Sammy Sosa's baseball, Mark McGwire, he bought them all. And the value, like, you know, now, at one point. Yeah, I mean, that was the peak. Now he looks back, and I read a whole article. He's like, they're not worth anything to anybody else but me at this point. That's interesting. So yeah, I mean, because people kind of lose history, they lose.
Well, it just fades a little bit.
Well, you have to hope for death.
But the more that time passes,
hope for death.
Like for instance, if you have a Sammy Sosa ball, let's say you have, hey, I've got number 66.
Right.
The problem is that within a few years, Sammy acted like he didn't know English in front of Congress. And you realize, wow, he was filled up on all sorts of roids, and now he basically looks like the color of Tug Coward from bleaching his skin.
Oh, I know.
So it's like you start to have where life starts to get involved, and suddenly it loses its luster.
Yeah, it gets messy. I don't know, man. It seems like this one. I mean, it's really.
I guess
market.
On the 50th anniversary, it'd probably be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be a good round number.
You drive that thing down the highway. Like, do you do like a whole police thing with that? That'd be cool.
I don't know if you do that because I don't know which police you're going to convince to tail you down the road, but certainly it would be because those Broncos. Okay,
then
cool
put like a "Make America Great Again" sticker on the back, and then
you'd
the police
have the FBI.
The FBI. Everybody will be chasing you down the highway then,
in your slow speed chase.
Yeah.
Good Lord. $1.5 million is what they want. So if you got an extra $1.5 million laying around and you want OJ's infamous white Bronco, then here's your opportunity to get it.
Or
go buy it.
You can go to a junkyard, buy a white Bronco, and just tell everybody it's OJ's for almost $5,000.
Or not even. You don't have to tell anybody anything. As soon as you see a white Bronco of that year, like 94,
everyone goes, that's an OJ Bronco.
The OJ Bronco. It'll always be
I get a vanity plate.
OJ Bronco, yes.
That said, like, I did it.
Yeah. That's even better. Yeah.
I saw a picture of one the other day. It was one of those white Broncos. The vanity plate said, not OJ.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't know why. I think on social media is where I saw that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, not OJ. That is really funny.
Just that vanity plate says Killa with an A.
Yeah. Loads. That's so good.
It's like, how strong is that of a vanity plate?
With a bumper sticker that says, I want my Heisman back.
Yeah. And I'm looking for him. You know, it was just the way he always said he was looking for the killers.
That Norm Macdonald line that he issued at the ESPYs when he's like, told Charles Woodson about how, no one will ever be able to take this away from you unless you happen to murder your wife and her friend.
And Griffey's face, King Griffey Jr. just puts his head in his hands, and he doesn't know whether to laugh or cry or act like he's appalled. He don't know what.
Oh, he was laughing. That's why he had to put his hand. He didn't want to.
He didn't want to. He didn't know how he was supposed to react, and so he didn't want to be, just scrutinized like crazy. But yeah, there you go.
It's okay to laugh sometimes.
It is. And look,
no matter how awful it sounds.
But I mean, if you don't laugh, you'll end up crying because the world is a treacherous place on occasion. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. Merchant, the judge in the hush money case. Now, he was asked to recuse himself, and he has refused. Wow. Who saw that one coming, Rhino? I bet you never guessed that one.
I mean, we talked about it the day that we found out about his daughter and what her job is. And, of course, she is employed at a firm that works for Democrats, prominent Democrats, not just, like local Democrats. We're talking about the Biden administration and everybody else. And, of course, she has attacked and continued to attack Donald Trump, talking about all this, talking about and accusing him of being guilty of all this before. That's the judge's daughter. And he says, well, that has nothing to do with me. This is political persecution at its highest level. And if we can't start to look at this justice system and realize we no longer have a tiered justice system, you could say 2 tiers. I said it from the beginning. If you have more than one tier, then you have no justice at all. And that's where this seems to be going at this point, because it's getting sillier and sillier. Of course he's not going to recuse himself.
Well, this is the banana republic. Like, we legitimately are talking about a case that was a couple of misdemeanors that get elevated to try and say, all right, maybe we'll make these felonies. And then after that, you basically put in a judge where this person's already corrupted, his daughter's corrupted, and you recognize, wait a minute, this person's already donating to the Democrat Party.
And if it weren't such flimsy charges and you weren't seeing this around every one of the places that he's being prosecuted and persecuted, depending on how you look at it. I know that's the way we look at it. If it weren't 90%, we had the story in the 7 o'clock hour, 90%, it's never getting covered in the mainstream media. 90% of the prosecutors that are prosecuting these Trump cases are all Democrats. That's conveniently left out. If all of that stuff wasn't true, then maybe you wouldn't look at this with such a skeptical eye and go, the judge needs to step down. But much like what happened here in Atlanta, when the judge didn't have the courage to take Fonnie Willis off the trial, you see that there's the appearance of malfeasance. There's appearance of just political, complete political prosecution. And that's all you're supposed to be able to see for something to be removed, so it has the appearance of a fair trial. And yet, that's not happening in any of these cases.
Tug, if, let's say that you and I were having an issue and, I thought for sure, I knew I was right. I know that you did something wrong, completely wrong whatsoever. And you go, well, you're biased because of some, I don't know what it could be. Whatever, it could be anything. Let's just say, it was political in this purpose. I would say, okay, if you think I'm biased, I know that you and Carlos are, I know that you did this. I know their evidence is here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to recuse myself, and I'm going to let Carlos do this because the law is more important. Justice is more important. We haven't seen that at all.
No.
What we've seen is we got to make sure that we do these cases in the right spots. We need to make sure that we do this in Fulton County where we have a DA that's on our side that we can manipulate into doing our bidding, and we're going to make sure that she follows that course because in reality, nobody can give us a crime. All we can be given is Fonnie Willis had an affair. Fonnie Willis used cash. Fonnie Willis did this. She didn't step away. If she thought this case was so secure, she'd be like, you know what? Let someone else handle this because this is more important. No, they all know that they are on hook to do these trials. Alvin Bragg, nobody has said, you know what? Find somebody else. Find a judge that was appointed by Trump. Because we have secure evidence that he really did break laws.
And if there was that feeling, they could step away knowing that the trial would continue. and they know they can't because anybody else looking at it's going to go, oh man, this is.
I don't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it
Feels
because that's what everybody else
Pete
would do.
Scandalakis walked away because he didn't want to touch any of this.
So you know what feels so different about this? Like the January 6th committee, that turned into like this must-watch television for the left. They're like, oh, and this is how we how we finish off Trump, and this is how all over with. Look what we accomplished. And then as it went on, you recognize that the ratings kept falling and falling and falling and falling, and basically you had a checkout factor that occurred. I'm wondering if we've had that already when it comes to these trials. Because there's no one who's locked in saying, like, are they finally going to get him? It's more of, wow, this is how broken our system is.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's got to be a terrible feeling for the Democrats.
Like, even for the other side.
That's what I'm saying. For the Democrats, they have to look at it the same way.
I spoke with a guy who's been trying to, and this was 3 years ago. There's a guy who's been trying to represent me in radio for the better part of like 10 or 12 years. And he reached out to me because there was a couple positions, and I was like, listen, I'm not moving anywhere. This is where I'm at. I'm happy. But then we just played catch up because we knew a lot of the same people for a long time.
Yeah.
And he flat out was like, yeah, so this Trump stuff, he's going to prison. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, good luck with that.
That's the delusion, though.
But that's the delusion there.
Sonny Hostin came out the other day again and say, oh, a convicted felon cannot vote once they're out, once they're free. But we have a convicted felon that can be president. They are continuing to lie. First of all, he's not convicted of any crimes. Right. He's not a felon. So these are the lies. This is the delusion of the liberals. This is the delusion of these people who think that Donald Trump has done something wrong. I will ask you this. Again, if it is so strong, because the first person I'd get would be a Trump supporter. I'd be like, you know what? I want this Trump-appointed judge to go ahead and prosecute that. That would be my best defense against him because you have the truth on their side. They need to continue to cover this up. They need their people. They're going to keep it in. Juan Merchant is just another pawn in the game of the Biden administration.
But enjoy this right now. Because this is what a Hail Mary looks like.
Yeah.
And they keep throwing all these crazy Hail Marys. In this case, they're hoping that, well, if you can attach convicted felon, now it could be on the flimsiest of reasons.
Doesn't matter. But it'll influence somebody.
Well, but then but that's the problem. The polling still shows. I'm trying to remember who had the video the other day where it was on, I want to say it was CNN. And they're talking to somebody and they're bringing up why they're going to back Trump. And the person keeps asking, but what if he's a convicted felon? And he just, still, this is what. And
he's better for the country.
But it amazed and it totally made the person crazy.
That was CNN. I remember
because this is the Hail Mary they're throwing right now. If you look at just the swing state polling, 6 out of 7, Trump is leading, and not just by a little bit. Like in Georgia, he's up by 10.
Yeah.
Goodness.
What I love is the Democrats are going to cry. They're going to lose their mind in 2024 when not only is all this thrown out, but then when he wins the election because of the political and election interference that we've seen throughout these entire trials. I can't wait until people that, even some Republicans that suffer from TDS. How
and
ridiculous.
There's plenty of them too.
Oh, we have one on our, I do like some of the things he says about COVID. I really do. I like what he's doing when, he attacks Governor Kemp. But when I ask him the question, like, who do you blame more about the way they handled, you having to wear a mask, locking you out, wanting to keep us down, Democrats or Republicans? And, he's always like, well, of course, Democrats. But yet you won't vote for the Republican candidate because you don't like the things he says. Like, this is the delusion we see from both sides. They are going to melt down when all this falls through because it is nothing but a political hit.
Yeah, but
they had to upgrade this to a felony in order to get past the statute of limitations. That's a joke.
The only thing I would add to it, though, is because all that's correct. If you think it's bad now, wait until he's reelected.
Oh, it's going to be a mess.
This is going to be child's play.
You better go to Troop Rep and protect yourself. I'll tell you that.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like it's going to get better. It's not like things are going to get easier. So please don't think just because Trump is reelected, if indeed he is, that things will get easier and this stuff will go away because it will not.
I will ask this on Liam's birthday. Happy birthday, Liam.
Happy birthday, kid.
Happy birthday, Liam.
So as Liam does all A's, do you ever think about punishing him for it?
No.
Because why? Because you want to encourage it.
I want to encourage that. I want to keep it going.
What do you think re-election is?
Same thing.
But
it's encouragement.
No, right.
It is, hey, keep doing what
that's
you're doing because that's the voice of it. And obviously, we all know that this election won't be hopefully as weird as what we experienced in 2020, and that the polling that's currently having on around the country will hold. But a re-election is an emphasis on we like what direction we're going, let's maintain it. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. So if you're going to go a different direction, it's going to start with we're going with a different person, even if it means we're going back to a different person.
But those people that are attacking Trump now and that are prosecuting him on flimsy charges, dude,
this is impeachment after impeachment.
It's nonstop. It's going to. If you think people are tired of it now, wait till he's reelected.
They're going to sue him in every court. They're going to do everything they can.
This is where the numbers are so different. Okay, you have the common Democrat who is across the board continues to talk about how we have to go a different direction. Now, none of them,
and Peg even says it.
They're not committing to voting for Trump. A lot of them are committing to, they're not going to endorse and not going to go for Biden. What you're getting is largely the elite media members and the elite people where none of these economic conditions or situations have touched them. So they're just looking at it as, well, what's wrong with all the rest of you?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the voters, though, Los. I'm talking about the actual
Congress.
Yeah, the establishment. That's what I'm saying. Like,
of course. Well, nothing will get done for 4 years.
That's
nothing.
Right. And that's the thing.
This is the loop that we're stuck in.
We have to get things done, or we continue down the wrong path and America's screwed.
But you'd rather them not do anything.
No.
I'd rather them just be stuck.
No,
that is what I want. When I still remember, this goes back to 2010, and you had the rise of the Tea Party, and you had all these people that came in, and I remember had a very, very liberal person that I was working with he interned and he was working at the radio station, and he goes, they won't even work with Obama. I go, I don't want them to.
Yeah, no, we all
I was like, I've had enough of your legislation.
No, we all agree on that.
They've lost me, all of them, every single one of them, every Republican, every Democrat. The only ones I tend to get to are like a Marjorie Taylor Greene. I know it's so weird because everybody else thinks I'm crazy. And I'm like, no, this is a person who's upset with the way the government is taking advantage of us. This is the woman who's going against everybody in her party to say, no, the government should not be allowed to spy on you as an American citizen. And all of us are going, wow, she's just nuts. No, none of you want to be spied on. I am so sick and tired of it. I'm okay with it. Let Trump win. Let me get the economy. I know we'll
get the economy.
Oh, we'll get some. We'll get some. We'll be able to get some things through. Obviously, we got to win the House. Obviously, we got to win the Senate. Some stuff will go in. Executive order alone will be better off than we were before.
Fair point. But
I'm okay with the rest. I don't care. I don't want the rest of it. I don't care anymore.
I'm talking about him, dude. I'm not talking about the accomplishments of the government. I'm talking about him. They are going to rip that man shred.
How much more?
Shred.
How much different is that since the moment of 2016?
Right. Yeah. But I think this will be on steroids. This is like nothing we've ever seen before, man.
But they're going to, you know what's going to end up happening. And you're right, because I think but see, what the Democrats are setting up is another summer of 2020. These people will lose their mind and they'll look like complete idiots. And I think the American people and Democrats, moderate Democrats, smart ones, hopefully like liberal John will go, I'm tired of these progressives. I'm tired of these attacks. I'm tired of us destroying our country. I'd hope.
If we line this out in a way that I think the linear progression works, continue to have situations like we had in Florida yesterday, where Florida said, yeah, you're not going to
we're going to arrest
make
you
problems for us if we do this. If Florida becomes that beacon of when these people go nuts, and Florida's the one who shows you how to deal with it, that spreads around the rest of the country. And hopefully that becomes that next launching point for DeSantis in 2028 of, look how I've been dealing with this stuff. This is how we got to deal with it going forward.
They're losing because they've lost California. Look at it. It's a complete disaster, and they've managed to just destroy that. New York, Chicago, the biggest cities in the world are going down because of Democrat policies. Atlanta, the highest crime rate, like you just said, they're starting to lose their message, and they're starting to really turn. They've already seen it with the pro-terrorist groups. They're losing them.
You got 4 cases. How many charges? 91, 96? 91 charges. Dude, it's going to be 191. The man is going to be drugged through the mud. And look, God bless him for wanting to stand up to it. I admire that, because they are going to come after him like you've never seen before if he is reelected.
Oh, I agree.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, Biden told Israel, don't retaliate against Iran. That's certainly going to do it. Just like when he told Iran, don't attack Israel. See how that turned out. Talk about it next on Extra 106.3, Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los. We're on the air until 10, then the Glenn Beck program. Beck's got Justin Amish. He is a U.S. Senate candidate. Talking about flipping. Can the GOP flip one of Michigan's Senate seats? That's the discussion after 10 here on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends collide on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer. Because when you get these two guys together, who knows where we'll end up?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
The Kimmer is live on your drive home every weekday afternoon from 3 to 6. And now Neil Bortz joins this show every week. And if you miss it, catch up anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
All right, we're talking about it. You need to be prepared. I'm prepared. I am very prepared in case of an emergency, and I hope you are too. But there are other things that you need to know to make sure that you're prepared, and that's the place to go and get all this done. And maybe you're new to it. Well, that's the good part about Troop Rep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway. If you are new, well, they specialize in getting you started, making sure you have everything you need, and even having workshops right there in Marietta on Cobb Parkway for you to learn how to prepare in case of an emergency. This isn't doomsday prepping. This isn't, here come the zombies. No, this is logical, smart prepping for you and your family. This is making sure that in case of any emergency, whether it's a hurricane or tornado or just a power outage or even a flood, that you have food for your family to make sure that you last. Prepackaged food is great to have. Go ahead, put it in your shelter, or you can do it yourself with the Harvest Right freeze dryer and other tools like the oxygen absorbers, Mylar bags. They have everything right there for you. Not to mention first aid kits. First aid kits that you actually can use, EMT grade, ones that'll save a life. And, of course, water filtration. You can only make it 3 days without water. Don't put yourself through that. You saw what happened in East Palestine. They're still worried about their water supply. Make sure you have a filter that will keep you and your family safe. Now for the fun part. The AR-15s, the firearms, the largest selection, and they can get anything you need. If you go there, talk to the professionals, they'll hook you up. Firearm accessories, ammo, and they keep it all at the lowest price around, and they're the ones that have it in stock because that's what they do. Head to Troop Rep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway, or go now, right now, TruePrep.com, TRUPrep.com. Tell them Rhino sent you, and start preparing today for a worry-free tomorrow.
Hey there, it's Janelle King, host of The Janelle King Show, right here on Extra 106.3 FM, where we are unafraid and unapologetic. We explore the topics that matter the most. You can catch us on Saturdays at 4 p.m. and encore episode on Sundays at 9 a.m. And catch up on past episodes by going to the podcast park right here at Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcasts every single Tuesday. Until then, stay unafraid, stay unapologetic, and never stop seeking the truth.
Is this the year you want to grow your business? Do you want to expand your team? Build a new office? Hey, it's Tug, and I want to tell you about First Liberty Building and Loan. Aren't you exhausted by going to lenders, building a relationship, and a week later, you're dealing with a new person? You won't have to with First Liberty Building and Loan. The Frost family has been helping businesses grow since the 90s, and they can help you too. They know the patterns, they know the ebbs and flows, and they know business. Now the Frost family wants to know you. FirstLibertyGA.com. Buying a building, building a building, buying a franchise, or expanding. Reach out and spend 10 minutes with them. See if you're a fit for them and if they're a fit for you. FirstLibertyGA.com. By the way, if you're a young banker and you want to work with a team that's faith-friendly with a culture of excellence, First Liberty might be a good match. Reach out to First Liberty Building and Loan at FirstLibertyGA.com. That's FirstLibertyGA.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack. We specialize in only foundation repair. What is foundation repair? Foundations sink or settle. These issues need to be addressed. It only becomes more costly the longer you put it off. What is the biggest cause of foundation problem? Either poor construction, inferior site preparation, or weather. Drought causes cracks in your foundations. If you see any signs of foundation issues, please contact us at atlantaramjack.com.
Neil Bortz here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, cpapsetc.com.
Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your system running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. So turn to Atlanta's Carrier experts for your system's maintenance. With Central, you get Carrier products, Carrier warranty, and Carrier peace of mind. It's allergy season, and Central Heating and Air can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Central Heating and Air is one of the few second-generation, locally owned and operated HVAC companies in Atlanta. With Central, you're not just a number, you're a member of the family. It's been that way since 1947, and they've serviced over 100,000 customers right here in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Grow your business organically with Atlanta's fastest growing news and talk station, Extra 1063. Get started today by emailing sales@xtra1063.com.
Tuck, Rhino, and Lowe's on the Morning Extra on Extra 1063. After we're done, it is the Glenn Beck program. Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, noon to 3, and then 3 to 6. The local afternoon show with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Do not miss great conservative content throughout the day that you can only get on Extra 1063, and we prefer that you listen on the Extra 1063 app. Why do we prefer that? Because we want to make it easy for you. It is so simple to listen to this show and all the others that I mentioned live or on demand, whatever's most convenient for you. That's the reason we always encourage downloading the Extra 1063 app.
I like convenience.
Me too.
Me too.
Convenience stores, I like them. I like the convenience of air conditioning.
That's a great one.
You know? I mean, there's conveniences in life that I really like. And
you know what convenience I don't like?
What's that?
The seeing eye toilets and the seeing eye sinks. Because they've come to a point now where I will stand at a sink in a restroom expecting to put my hands under the faucet and the water to come.
It's made you lazy.
It's made me lazy. And I will sit there for 2 to 3 minutes before I realize, no, this has a handle I actually have to turn on now.
I got to do this myself.
And then I think
Which is inconvenient.
You guys unfortunately heard me screaming at the toilet the other day that every time I tried to sit down, it sucked the little toilet condom
or
whatever the nest thing
I was
down.
Nest. Yeah.
I was so mad because I'm short. So I don't know why. Maybe it just sees over my shoulder, the little seeing eye thing. But every time I go to like sit down, it automatically flushes.
That's the worst.
It's so bad.
That's tough.
I hate convenience.
There's a new convenience. It's an innovation, if you will. Do y'all have Ring cameras at home? Because we have one.
Yeah, we do.
I do. I didn't put it up yet, though.
Okay, well, you will, though.
Yeah,
and so those things are handy. You know, you can see who's walking by your house. You can come to the door, and then, you know, you can expand it. You can put them all over your house. But there's a new innovation, the next innovation in doorbell cameras. It's a device that's armed to shoot things at unwanted visitors to your home.
Okay, I want that one.
Me too. There's a Kickstarter campaign on the way for Paint Cam Eve, which shoots paintballs and cartridges of tear gas for people coming to your home that are uninvited. Check out this commercial they created for this Kickstarter campaign.
An AI-powered robotic security system equipped with an integrated paintball launcher, face recognition, and sound dispatchers, which allows me to recognize intruders and stop them in their tracks.
You are identified as a non-authorized personnel. You have 5 seconds to leave the property.
0 compliance. 0 tolerance.
Dude, look at this thing.
Okay.
This is from a website.
Pretty extreme sounding.
New Atlas is the company.
Okay,
look at this.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Okay, first of all, I love this idea. Yeah. I hate the AI technology part of it.
Oh, man.
And here's why.
Yeah.
Because eventually AI is going to be like, you are no longer welcome in your home.
In your own
And I'll be
home.
like, wait, no, this is my home. Hey, AI, Jenny, whatever I name her.
Yeah, right.
No, it's me. We don't care anymore.
That's right. We've been taken over by the government, and the government
Chancellor
says
Biden has said you are no longer
Chairman Biden.
Chairman. Like, what a sci-fi movie we just created.
Chairman Biden has said that your home is no longer your home. And
your home belongs to the government.
You.
Yeah.
He can start blasting you with the paintballs.
Yeah,
so,
just
I can
pepper
see.
spray.
I could say, yeah, or the that's exactly what
But
I
until
said.
then, like, if you give me one that we can control, like I have an app on my phone and I'm like, oh, look, there's my brother. I think I'm going to piss him off a little today. Now that'd be fun.
So this is a Slovenian startup, and people are quite curious. What could possibly go wrong? They ask.
Except for the AI portion, a lot.
Or let's say the thing just
or
for
your
whatever
kid
reason,
gets a hold of it and just starts shooting people that come up.
Right. Or what about like your phone? You know, those phone. You hold it up and it recognizes your face and it unlocks your phone. What happens when it doesn't? Like it doesn't, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work, and you're trying to get your house.
It's me,
and just
or
get
it
lit up
starts
by
taking
paintballs.
out like the Jehovah Witnesses.
Oh, come on, leave them alone. My wife.
No, look, I ain't mad at them. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
I know a lot of people who are going to try to shoot at them.
I have daughters.
Yes.
Oh, just high school boys.
Oh,
yeah.
Actually, you could use that for good.
Oh, I like this.
That's right.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
Yes, that's exactly right. I wouldn't want to be the one to go to
Tommy, I told you to get off my porch.
Now,
Hell on,
the
kid.
other thing is there are so many innovative people in this world. And the one person that's going to go, you know what? Instead of paintballs, I can fire muskets or I can fire really deadly projectiles at people who I don't want on my lawn.
So, look, I think that's what they're trying to accomplish.
Because when I get an old man, I'm going to find a way to make that thing dangerous.
No kidding, man. NewAtlas.com is the website if you want to go and check it all out and some of the other innovations right there. I mean, for all I know, the website it looks legitimate, but there's just something
Could
about
be like
this.
AI made.
Yeah, exactly.
By the AI person that's trying to push this.
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's something about it that just doesn't.
Boy, it sounds fun though, don't it?
Doesn't jive. You know what I mean? There's just something about it that doesn't feel real, which is still fun to talk about because of all the discussion we just had. It just makes it fun. But NewAtlas.com is the website in case you want to.
Because I love those videos. The people are like, I'm tired of stealing my packages, and they put all the glitter bombs in the packages.
Yeah, those are so funny to watch.
Amazing.
Or the people that try to. Have you ever seen them putting backpacks and they'll put a backpack next to like a I don't know, like a park bench or something.
Right.
And then they attach a rope to the backpack
that's
very
great.
thin, and they sit it down there, and somebody picks it up, and they put the backpack on, and you can see them, and then they take off running.
And they pull them back.
And then, bam!
I love that.
The rope catches up, and I was watching videos of that this morning.
If you want the person who puts the chain on the bike and does the same thing.
Yes, exactly. Or takes the seat off the bike.
Yeah, the amount of people that get hurt on that bike for trying to steal it.
I love
wonderful.
it. Isn't it when you see...
I love that.
When you see people getting their just, people getting their due. In good, when people do good and they get their just, they get their due.
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler, we talked about it earlier.
Absolutely.
He got his due. He did things the right way. And then when criminals, they get their due, I don't know which one I like more.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't. Like, I love seeing people work hard and accomplish their goals, but I equally love to see somebody that's a knucklehead that's doing wrong and causing people pain and agony get exactly what they deserve.
Instant karma is the best. And I root for instant karma. I'm going to tell you this weekend. So Liam, myself, we all went paddleboarding. And this woman, she was a Karen for sure. She comes walking down. She's already angry, you could tell. She comes down. Now, Liam has braces. He can't chew gum or anything like that. Well, somebody put a pack of gum or dropped a pack of gum probably out of their
piece
pocket.
of gum or something.
Right. It was an entire pack.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And she picks it up and she turns towards my son, who is deflating the paddleboard with me. And she starts yelling, young man, why won't you throw your gum away? And my son's like, look, he's like, she must not be talking to me, so he ignores her. And she starts screaming, why are you ignoring me? Oh, it's okay. I'll just pick up your garbage and throw it away. And it got to the point where I was like, I hope this woman trips while walking over the garbage can, whatever. Now, I did turn to her and basically say, hey, Karen,
look,
my 14-year-old can't stop yelling at a kid. Get on your little paddleboard and go gone. But, that instant, I prayed for instant karma. Pray for it every time. And I love those videos when they get it.
Me too. It's funny. Israel considering what they should do in the aftermath of what is a failed attempt to attack them by Iran, and Iran let the Turks know, and the Turks let the White House know. So it was like a game of telephone or something. It's silly.
We had advanced knowledge.
We had advanced knowledge it was coming, and 99.9% of everything. You do have a 7-year-old that's on life support that got hit by shrapnel, and every life is valuable. We all know that. What should Israel do? If I'm Israel, man, I'm hitting back as hard. And look, I know that's probably not a popular point of view to have, but if you allow it, it will continue. It's just like being bullied at school. If it's allowed to continue, it does. And that's where, Biden saying don't to the Israelis is just as dumb as him saying don't to the Iranians, because they're not listening.
No.
Who's going to listen to that clown?
This is something where they need to, Netanyahu, Israel needs to ignore the U.S., needs to ignore the rest of the world and do what they set out to do, which is destroy Hamas and destroy the people who fund terrorism all around the world. Not just in Israel, by the way. I know they want to wipe out all the Jews in Israel. They want to wipe out all the Jews in every country in this world. That's their goal. So I'm all for it. The one problem that we have is that the United States is weak. We have a weak president. We have a weak administration, and they want to play politics rather than actually do what's supposed to be done. They attacked 170 times, U.S. troops. We sat back and done nothing. Iran's lucky that we're weak. They're not going to be as lucky with Israel. I say, Israel, go and do your thing. Help us out because we're too weak to do it.
I'm hoping at some point that we won't need to be in this situation anymore, because Israel will have done whatever it takes to defend themselves, and the United States was there to back their biggest ally in the world. I do believe in that peace through strength mentality there, because otherwise it's not going to ever end, Los.
There's just a formidable nature of when you deal with Iran, that this is not a podunk country any longer.
No, it's not. They got $300 billion in oil money.
You are talking about a formidable opponent where you almost have to say, all right, so this is what you got. You flew into our country, and this is what you did to us, and this is how we had to defend it. What's the level by which we then have to smash you? Because this is not the same as October 7th. That's why I don't have a problem with what you're doing when anyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this to these people over there. Listen, you went ahead and started a very dirty incident, a dirty war, and so this is how you're being dealt with. The Iranians is a different deal.
Yeah.
It's what is the level? Because I'm with you. That provocation requires some sort of response, but what's the level?
Oh, I think the level is destruction of those facilities, because here's the problem.
Well, which facilities?
Every facility that they launch from, every nuclear idea. We know where they're doing their nukes. We know that they got the uranium.
It'll take them 12 days to build a nuke if they wanted to use it.
Right. They can get it done right away. And we know where they are. We know that we have the intelligence. The problem is, once again, we have a weak administration that keeps telling them, don't. Why? There's no reason why. We need to wipe them out. They're the ones that are funding this. They're the ones that want to continue this. John Kirby's right. They screwed up. They wanted this to be way worse. Out of 300 missiles, only 100 did. And that's what I'm saying. I think they messed up on one part. But in reality, they did exactly what they wanted to do. Because what they wanted to do was draw Israel off sides, because they know that the U.S. is so weak, they won't support Israel anymore.
I think that's what Lowe's is talking about.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that if you're talking about, because so far, Israel has not been drawn off sides. Israel has basically looked at it and said, we've been in a proxy war with you. Now you're trying to turn it into a hot war.
Right. And this is the first time an actual Iran has actually physically launched from their property. It ain't like a proxy as you're discussing.
Right. So this is, like I said, this is now the escalation. But that is where the question has to become, what is your response? And again, I agree there needs to be a response.
Yeah.
My question is, all right, are we talking about, because anything too much, anything that goes to a certain level now plunges the entire region into because here's the issue, and this is what I think gets downplayed. The Iranians are trying to become that group in the Middle East that says, we'll be the counter to Israel.
Yeah.
And the problem is, this is not 20, 30 years ago. The Saudis aren't looking at the Israelis like they're bad people. They're like, no, we're working with them.
Jordanians, too.
The Jordanians are the same way. But yet the Iranians are trying to act like this is 30 years ago. But they we'll be the lead to protect y'all all from Israel.
The good thing for Israel right now is momentum was going towards the pro-terrorist groups. People were like, okay, we're going to, we get it. We want ceasefire. But after what Iran did, people are now back on the other side going, yeah, Israel needs to defend itself. It needs to continue. They're continuing to get attacked. And I love Jordan, and I love that they are kind of looking at it a little bit differently, because I think they sit back and they sit out of this. But again, we're too weak, and the rest of the world is too weak to do what needs to be done, which is wipe out terrorist organizations. If you want to start a coup, it should have been done in Iran instead of sending $6 billion to them and continuing aid and what Obama did for them, pallets of money.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hours brought to you by Southern Exteriors or your exterior choice for your home here in Atlanta, throughout the Southeast. They're based in Jackson, Georgia, but they can service you wherever you are. It doesn't matter. They'll come to you. They won't make you wait either. Leaky roofs, of course, we've had rain lately. Leaky roofs. You got siding that is faded, needs to be painted or replaced altogether. They can do all that. Windows. They can do gutters. They can do it all. Southern Exteriors, 877-9-SOUTHERN. Or southernexteriors.co. Not .com. Don't make that mistake. Southernexteriors.co. When we come back, forget your silly IRA. I feel like I should be in like financial advice. I could provide you with the newest retirement rage.
You gonna make me money?
Yes, I am, front office Lowe's. I'm gonna make you a dollar bill or several. Next on Extra 106.3. The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Look up on the internet the world's smallest political quiz. Then take it. It's 20 questions. Well, you answer those questions, it's going to put you on a grid. You know, left, right, conservative, Republican, anarchist, whatever. And about 60 to 70% of all Americans will fall firmly in the libertarian grid on that. The American people are, by and large, libertarian. They're not Democrat. They're not Republican. They're libertarian. But the narrative in the media is, well, America's a two-party state. Third parties are dangerous. Why?
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
When you're looking for a contractor, you want someone you can rely on, one that's going to do exactly what they tell you they're going to do. One that would give you a project manager. That way you have a direct person on site every day that you can ask questions to, that you can make sure that they're looking at everything that you're seeing, and you can point it out. Hey, there's a little something here that doesn't look right. Can y'all take care of that? Want to make sure that the siding looks right, the painting looks right, the windows look right, the gutters, the driveway for that matter. Do you need it pressure washed? I mean, it could be as simple as that, and anything in between, or all of them at one time. Southern Exteriors does roofing. They do siding. They do gutters. They do millwork, porches, windows and doors, exterior remodeling. They even do new construction. If you're in the market for that. They have a portfolio of excellence that you can see at southernexteriors.co. It's southernexteriors.co. You can see these houses that are like multi-million-dollar homes that they've taken care of, down to normal people homes like you and I live in. They do it all and everything in between. They have an in-house warranty division. So you don't have to worry about those contractors that come to your house after a storm. Hey, you need a new roof? We can get your insurance to pay for a new roof. You don't have to deal with that. They have an in-house warranty division. When you get something done, they are there for the duration. They've been doing this for over 30 years down in Jackson, Georgia, covering the entire Southeast, covering all of Metro Atlanta. Whatever you dream of, they can create on the outside of your home. They are Southern Exteriors, and they don't make you wait. We got a project coming up, and they're like, when do you want us to start? We're like, well, we actually got to wait because we got to drive to Charleston to move our son out. We got to we have to put it off like 3 weeks. And they're like, well, okay, we can get started as soon as you want to get started. So if that's what you're looking for, quality, warranty, and a time frame to get your project done that's relevant to you and it works for you, then reach out to Southern Exteriors. southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co, 877-9-SOUTHERN.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
My name is Pamela Conley. I've worked for Bruce Hagen for 22 years. It's been the best years of my life, and not everyone can say that about their jobs. I'm the intake specialist for new clients, so I am the voice you hear when you call our office and the first face you see when you come by. I love sharing my years of experience with people and alongside Bruce, helping them through what is so often a really hard time. My name is Pamela Conley, and I work for Bruce Hagen. Let him work for you. Hagen-law.com.
It's a mad world out there, but one thing is certain, everyone is trying to market something. So tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. to the Marketing Madmen, who, along with a variety of industry expert guests, can help you make sense of it all. Whether you own a business and want tips to scale, or are a fan of the finer things in life and want to know how restaurants, golf courses, and wine companies try to sell you stuff, the Marketing Madmen is your ultimate destination for all things marketing. Tune in right here on Extra 106.3 every Saturday at 3 p.m. or search online for more content. Join the madness with the Marketing Madmen.
At the Piedmont Bank, we're proud to be one of Georgia's largest community banks, focusing on serving businesses and the communities they serve. With headquarters right here in Metro Atlanta, our tailored banking expertise and solutions help meet the diverse needs of our customers so they have what it takes to grow, expand, and thrive. It's what elevates us above the rest. Find a location near you at Piedmont.bank and experience elevated banking for you and your business. The Piedmont Bank. Banking elevated. Member FDIC and Equal Housing lender.
My name's Jeff Criswell. I'm running for U.S. House of Representatives, Georgia's 6th District. I'm a Republican. I'm very conservative. First moved to Atlanta, the Atlanta area in 1984. Within the last 3-4 years, I really felt a very strong urge that I believe is from God to get involved in politics. So there's 765,000 voters in this district. So I'm going to need to be able to use sort of some more modern strategies. And for that reason, I am reaching out to people. We need your support. I don't care if it's $10 or $100 or $1,000, whatever you're comfortable with. Also, if you want to volunteer, we could absolutely use you for a volunteer. And finally, a sign out in a yard is worth its weight in gold. If you want to put a sign up, go over to jeffcriswell.com. That's Jeff, Jeff, Criswell, CRISWELL.com. By all means, we want to partner with you because we can win this district.
This message is paid for by Jeff for Georgia 6. The Morning Xtra, Neil Bortz, and The Kimmer Show are all online for you anytime at thepodcastpark.com. Plus all of Xtra's exclusive podcasts like Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and so much more. All at thepodcastpark.com. Presented by Associated Credit Union.
Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. Final segment of the show. And I'm glad you're here for this one specifically. I've been doing financial radio shows for the better part of 10 years. And I thought I had heard everything. Every way to pay less in taxes. Every way to save better. Every way to live better in retirement, to maintain your lifestyle and all those things. And now I know, that I'd missed one of them. Of doing all these shows over the years, I'd missed one of the most important ways, and that is forget the stupid IRA, forget your stupid 401k. The newest rage in retirement planning in America sounds like this.
Well, you can forget the Roth IRA. My new retirement plan is to move to Mexico, give up citizenship, come back illegally, and then be set for life.
Yeah, hard to argue with that fella. And you should see him. He's sitting there eating a hamburger, like in a, like at a, I don't know, McDonald's or a fast food joint. And he's just got this smile on his face, like he has figured this whole thing out.
Yeah,
and he kind of has.
Here's the funny part: if you're an American and you do that and you came back, they would find a way to arrest you and put you in jail for the rest of your life.
Probably so.
It's the meme has not gotten old. It still matters. It's the people that want to put shots in you.
Yeah.
Didn't require any of it for these people coming across the border.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
You don't have to wear a mask.
That our country is physically falling apart at the seams. And the only thing we can do is laugh about it because we have no control over it. There's nothing we can do. We feel handcuffed. That's where we are in America these days.
It is. And you know what? It's sad because you look around and you look in, in some of the inner cities and some of the areas outside of the cities and the mountains, stuff like that, where people need help. People do need help from the government in certain situations. And I don't think it's the government's job to help any of them. But at the same time, why are you helping people that don't even belong here before you even think about helping the people that need help? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I want you to recognize that every single time we have something like this, in this case, it's a crazy inflationary environment, and we're losing all these full-time jobs. We're in a full-time jobs recession, but there's always an opportunity somewhere. It's just a matter of you can find it, if you can spot it. And a lot of times it might be some sort of economic opportunity. Like in this case, this person's joking about go to Mexico, then come across, and I'm going to be set.
Yeah.
There's games to be played here. It's more about identifying what to do.
Yeah. Well, it's like the tax, yesterday was the day. How many people went and found every loophole they possibly could to benefit themselves? Yes. It's your job to do that.
It's written in the tax code. People don't know it.
Take advantage of the system. Take advantage of your own money they're using against you. Your own money that they put partisan judges in place to take care of you as a citizen. Start taking advantage of those systems.
I'll tell you. If nothing else, I wanted to end the show on a smile because you have to laugh at it or you'll cry. You're seeing what is, maybe the worst time in American history to be an American because of the way that you're being taken advantage of. And you see specifically people of Hispanic descent, 40% are in favor of a wall from sea to shining sea. Nobody hates illegal immigration more than that community. And God bless them.
Are experiencing our own late 70s malaise. This is what it was when my parents talked about growing up under Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. When they were young professionals trying to get things going. I still remember them talking about them paying, I think it was like 23% or something crazy of an interest rate on their first home, and thinking, how are we going to make this thing work? Yet, now in this case, you just can't afford a home.
Right.
Just different.
This is way worse.
These are opportunities. But we're experiencing what happened essentially 45 years ago.
But this is way worse. My father was telling me a story the other day after my 50th birthday. We were kind of just reminiscing, and he talked about that time because I was born in 1974. And what they did was they used the excuse because my mom, she got really big with me, and it looked like she could pop at any time. Because there was a gas shortage at that time, they had to take advantage of every situation they could. They tell him, look, we're on the way to hospital. He's about to be born. I need gas. And they would do that 3 to 4 times a week because they used to cut people off from getting gas during that time. Say, rationing. Sorry, you can only, it was ration. This is still way worse of a future for a lot of people when they look and say, they've destroyed the economy. They've destroyed gas prices. They've destroyed the housing industry. I think people are looking now and saying, if we don't make a change now, then there's no chance for a future for our kids. My son, right now, if this were to continue, there's no way he'd ever own a house. There's no way he'd ever be able to really do anything for himself.
I think about it with my kid, too. I mean, he'll be graduated college in now 3 years. He's almost, he's like a month away from he's finishing his first year in college. And what's the job prospect market going to look like when he gets out? It's going to be rough. It's tough sledding, just like Port Op Joe Virgin River. They're relatively the same age.
Talk about trade schools. Talk about learning something. Again, there's a part of me that just says, like, one of my daughters wants to be a vet. I'm like, go study to do that. My older daughter, well, I might want to try this. I might want to coach. I'm like, fine. It's like something that has some sort of service-oriented nature to it. Don't go get your sociology degree.
Yeah, that's going to do you no kind of good whatsoever. All right, that'll do it for us. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co. Again, southernexteriors.co. Glenn Beck program. Up next, the first topic you'll hear about is trying to flip one of those Michigan Senate seats to the GOP. Will they be able to do it? Who knows? But that's the discussion for Rhino, Los, and Port Op Goey Virgin River. I'm Tug. Y'all come back now. You hear? Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
One point I want to make about the slavery thing.
Yeah.
No other country in the world within 100 years of its founding fought a civil war that killed 500,000 people to stop slavery. No other country did that.
Think about that.
To stop, within 100 years of its founding, ended slavery. And everybody else kept it for hundreds or thousands of years.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.